What's up, guys? It's James from Adrenaline here for the big show. We get to do about once every 3 years, so I'm excited as everyone else is. Hope you guys are to see the Adrenaline Luxe Idol tonight and talk about all our mods, the looks, and the technology, the R&D that we put into this. It is by far our most advanced and complicated design we've ever done in the past. It's out of control the amount of R&D we put into this. We couldn't do it without the help of DLX, so shout out to them. I think we complement each other really well. Someone said that they're like the Mercedes and we're like the AMG, and really there's a good relationship there. Well, wait a couple more viewers. Just give everybody a chance to get in. I'm going to, instead of just chatting with everybody and ask where everybody's at, I'm just going to tell you a little bit about Adrenaline if you're new to the company. We started in 1997, which is crazy. Got some gray hair going on here. We had a bunch of mods to the Angel LED, which was a really basic, amazing gun, but it had some needs. And the more mods we did, the more we decided we could actually just make our own version. We asked WDP to make kind of the first full custom gun with custom anodizing everything, and they declined and said no. So we put our money together, and literally I was like, 18. My buddies are 18, 19, and we bought, I think, 20 guns wholesale. They did sign us up as a dealer, and we stripped those suckers and adrenalized the crap out of them and did the first 4-axis milling, first full custom anodizing with customers' requests from PK Selective, which had the GOAT at the time and Piers Wiggett. And I'll never forget when we brought at the Amateur Open, we had a booth to show them the WDP, and they absolutely lost it when we showed them the guns. And Jed, the owner, said, "Give them whatever they want." And so from that point on, we actually worked with them instead of kind of pirated versions. So anyway, since then we've made a few guns. We've made the first 5-axis machine gun. After that, the first fully stripped one in the Feather, which they copied right after and did the Fly, which was one of the reasons we left them. But first full body design on the Shocker, which included the barrel. And this one is, my CAD guy said this is the most complex gun he's ever done by far, and that I actually had to go back to pull stuff up, notes from school and stuff to make this one work. It won't be copied well, I don't think, because the CAD time and the machine cycle time is out of control. For someone like us that just does a limited run, it works. But if someone wants to try to make this and reproduce it in a cost-effective way, it's not very good. But we don't care as much about profit as others, so it works out. All right, so we've got 200 people in here. That's good. I've delayed as much as I can. I got Nick Schroeder on here from England, he's staying up late, so I'll try to just get this thing going because I know it's midnight. Ooh, wrong one. John is in Ohio, so it's not late there. All right. So let's go. Let's show it, and then I'm going to dive through this list. That way, if people are just like, "Hey, this thing's ugly," you can dip. But you want to hear the mods for sure. You'll see once we show you this, you'll understand how much effort it went into it, at least whether you like it or not. You'll appreciate at least the fact that it's a crazy amount of effort to win this thing. All right, so I'm going to just start with the gun, and then we're going to talk. I'm going to dive through these mods, and I'm going to describe them as best we can. So the first thing I'll say is, I've seen the dragons, you've seen the first dragon trailer, and then we added like a little hint of a dragon. Then we add a full-blown dragon. It is a dragon theme. We've added dragon scales or dragon skin to every element of the gun. This is one of our inspiration pieces. You can see scales, but what I mean by skin is like, that's kind of like what we view. I mean, dragons don't exist in real life, right? So it's kind of hard to copy. But that's one of our inspiration pieces. So skin and scale on everything. And because we did our own extrusion, we weren't limited like we have been in the past to, hey, you've got so many thousands to do this or that. So we had a little more meat. So we said, let's go full-blown 3D milling with relief on these scales. And I think it looked turns out great, but you guys can be the decider of that. So let's just dive in. I'm going to bring them up one at a time. We'll talk about it as we go. So, I'm gonna try to see if I can zoom in without like bringing it off screen. That's good enough. You can get a concept and idea. So, all right. So you got dragon skin in the front here, and then these are the dragon scales. Uh, Dragon skin on the reg foregrip, dragon skin on the ASA lever, and the back strap, which I'll show in a sec. How much relief are there on these scales? Wait till I spin this sucker, and you're gonna be shocked. Um, is there a little more meat on it? Maybe. I mean, if you care about 28 grams, then we're probably not the company for you. Um, Here's another angle of it. So you can see we kept the deuce trigger. That's our thing. The adrenaline deuce trigger is just us. So it's got a different trigger design. Um, the You can see the back strap here is got the dragon scales on the top, or the skin on the top. And then this didn't present well, but that's a machine dragon on the back strap. It's a very lightly, very barely machined in dragon on the back strap there. I think there's another angle of it. Um, there's another angle of it there. Let me see. Let me show you. I'm sorry, I'll go back to some of these. I know I'm going fast. I want to show this one. So this shows the dragon on the backstrap pretty good, but look at, I'm going to zoom in. Shows you the relief on these scales. So our CAD guy had to basically, so the barrel can be patterned a little bit, not much. So typically when CAD people make a gun, they make a pattern, whether, whatever it is, they make a pattern, they repeat it. Well, on a shape of a body, these aren't automags, right? They're not perfectly round, so they have these weird shapes. So you can't pattern as easy, but you can still do it. Well, with our scales, he had to make each one by one. So you can see how this piece is different than this one and this one, because these scales have to wrap over. And you can see that that it's a really fluid design, but each one had to be created one by hand, which is a stupid amount of CAD time, stupid amount of machine time. But it basically, you can see why it's the hardest one that he's done, and that's why it's the hardest one we've done. So, but this one shows the amount of relief. This isn't just like some visual thing. I mean, I don't know actually the measurements of this, but you can see in proportion to this screw, how much relief you have on each of these. If you get shot in the gun, they're actually not tiny cracks. Like the barrel actually is smaller cracks, but they're not so deep and they're rounded on the edges that you can wipe it down. They have it's not just a ball mill going in and going around. We've rounded off the edge of each one because that's kind of how it looked on that dragon skin wine glass. And these will get rounded a little bit when they get polished, but for the most part, they're going to be this kind of relief. Okay, so I'm going to zoom back out. We're going to talk about some other stuff. Let's just go back to the first one, guys. All right. So, thanks, guys. Everybody says it looks amazing. I appreciate it. I love the comments. We've been working really hard for this, as you can imagine, and not just us, but a typical CAD. So I've been told private labels, a lot of them will do 1 or 2 back and forth with CAD. Typically we'll do 6 or 7 with changes. This one was over 20 back and forths. I'll probably show at some point where we started with, but it was a crazy amount of back and forth on basically what we did. So next thing let's talk about is some of the mods and some of the internal changes we did. So this is autococker threaded. I know that's something people have been asking about. I've seen it in here. I haven't put them up, but people are like, please tell me it is. It is. Corey, you get your wish. So because we were able to because we were doing our own extrusion, we were able to lengthen the body. So because autococker threaded body is longer, and I'll show that in a second, but it's about a 1/2 inch, 3/8 inch longer body to allow for the extra threads. So, but we're doing our own private extrusion, so let's do it. So we're making 600 units worldwide. I know some of these are going to the UK and maybe Australia. So there'll be 600 Luxes on the earth with cocker threads. So if you want one, this is it. And that entailed a lot of problems. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit and tell you kind of engineering. I'm not going to go crazy on it, um, but let's zoom in. So in the engineering, because the airflow goes through these paths inside the body. It's not like an idle or an amp where there's like a tube. It's major engineering if we change like the airflow. So this part of the gun was kind of set in stone. Okay. Well, then we're bringing the body almost a half inch forward, 3/8 inch. So like Bob Long did a gun once where like the body went out around the barrel, and I did not like the look of that. So we have this like extended body need on the front, with the reg in the back. So what we did was we simply made it a vert reg. You've probably seen that by now, right? So um, the the stock idle, I want to say, let's just guess, like say a 10% rake on the reg. We just found out that like I actually just took a corner edge and said, wonder what happens if I went from the tip of this up to the end of our new barrel position, and it was almost a perfect match. So I said, well, let's just go vert reg. The reg's already kind of a little bit small for a lot of people. I mean, the grip is the foregrip. So we enlarged the foregrip. It did serve two purposes. One, for most people, I think it's a little better size proportion, and also it allowed us to go up to the cocker thread by making it basically a vert foregrip. We did maintain the idle little marks here, but we of course added our own little. You can see the roundedness right there. That's a good example of. I'll try to zoom in. There you go. That's a good example. The reasoning behind being cocker threaded, one, I mean, honestly, one is we listen to people a lot, and that's the number one requested thing. But I think it is. Some people had problems getting the prior Luxe barrels into the Luxe. They fixed that somewhat with the anti-shroud design. But a lot of it is just people just have tons and tons of cocker barrels. They got a Deadly Wind set, they got a this set, they got a that set. And the ion thread was kind of like an anomaly. So you can use obviously almost any other barrel set you own now with this Luxe because it matches what you probably already own. So that is, I'm going to discuss one more mod, and then I'm going to bring up a side by side on the body. So one of the other things we changed is the height of it. So the ergonomics have been changed by us. It's not like, I don't think it's anything noticeable. It's like, oh, this is too big. But if you felt like the Luxe was ever like a little small on your hands, then you're really going to like it. It has about it is exactly a quarter-inch taller. And that is because we have our own ASA. Our ASA has a built-in slide rail. You can't tell it, but we designed a built-in slide rail into it that has a 5/8 inch adjustment. So instead of getting a long body powerhouse reg or a standard body powerhouse reg, you can get a standard body and adjust the Adrenaline ASA. It is actually our own slide rail ASA combo. You could put a stock ASA on our Luxe. You could put our slide rail and our ASA on a stock Luxe, and we'll probably make some in dust black to sell. But you cannot mix and match our parts. Our rail will not go on any Luxe without our side rail, without our ASA. It's a combo piece. So you have to have, there's a line here. I'm sorry, I'm on the wrong screen. There's a line here. You have to have these two pieces to make it work. And so our ASA is kind of like a weird looking. If you took this off, it's like the bottom half. Why make it so big? So, because you have to always have this piece. So we kind of, the machining of it's kind of blended together. But you can put these two, and I'll make some in dust black, on a stock idle. And you'll have, honestly, a stock TM40, and you'll have adjustable slide rail built into the ASA. So now that I've mentioned that, let me show you. I'll try to zoom this up a little bit. This is like this is our body superimposed behind a stock body. So it's not crazy night and day bigger. You can see our scale sticking up over the base extrusion, but you can see these foregrips, the rear of these are lined up perfectly. So you can see where we've added a little bit of meat here in the front. And then I don't know if you can see it on the screen very well, but the stock ASA ends right here. And you can see about the quarter-inch addition on our ASA. So that gives you a feel for like size. It's not like some big honking thing. It's minor amounts, but it provides, I think a lot of utility, especially with, what you're getting out of these. I think most people, I will say this, most people probably leave the ASA in a stock position because the scales will misalign. So you can see how we machined it. If you do start sliding it back, the scales will misalign a little bit. But some people don't care about looks; they want performance and how it feels comfortable. I have two back players in my team. One's probably like 5'8", 5'7", and one's like 6'2". So they need different different ergonomics. So we tried to accommodate that for ergonomics for people that a lot of my subscribers, the most common size is XL and the second most common is 2X. So our customers are bigger, and I think they would like the ergonomics to fit their size. Okay, so we talked about the drag and milling and the scales. We've talked about having our extrusion. We talked about having the only cocker thread. I've talked about the ASA. Let's keep moving on. It comes with both mechanical frame and electronic frame. I've showed you the back of the electronic frame. We have a back strap that has the dragon superimposed on it. The mechanical frame obviously won't, because there's no back strap. It will have these themed grips we have. It's got adrenaline on one side and dragon on the other. But let's talk more. It's got the adrenaline timer from Garmin. Again, we're doing that. But I wanted to talk about our mech trigger. I think if you play mech, you want to pay attention for the next 2 minutes. So I'm gonna dump my screen for a sec. So if you play mech and you've had a Luxe and you've played against people, if you had adrenaline Luxe especially, we've in the past kept our opening about the same it was in the shocker, and people started going up right up to the limit. And I play the wire, and I've played against people that are walking on me, and it's really frustrating. So we asked a lot of our people, hey, do you want to compete with that? And they said yes. We got to keep up with what everybody else is doing. So in our true fashion, if we're going to do it, then we're not just going to keep up. We're going to try to do the best we can. So what we did on the mechanical frame is the rules are the opening. So you can only have this much of a trigger opening. And so typically what people do is it hinges, like right here. And if you are trying to get two fingers in there, then you've got one finger on the tip and then one finger right up by the pivot point. So you're trying to walk there. So what we did was we said, well, picture like trying to open like maybe a metal gate. Where's the easiest place to open this gate? Not right by the pivot point, but at the end of the gate, right? And what if two people were trying to open the gate? Would you want one person by the pivot point? No, you'd want both people at the end of the gate for the leverage, right? So what if you could have your fingers more towards the end? So what we did was we made the mech trigger taller, but hid a lot of it in the gun. I mean, it's not like night and day taller. It's not going up all the way to the top of the core, but it's taller. It's taller than the stock idle mech trigger when it comes out. Ours won't even fit in a stock idle mech frame. In fact, this is our mech trigger. I'm going to bring it back on. This is our mech trigger trying to go into a shocker era, which is just now coming out mech frame. So it's just won't even remotely fit, and it won't fit in the stock idle frame. And so what that is, so picture again, this pivot point, by making the exposed part farther away from the pivot point, then it just moves more freely. And that gate example I said, so let's talk engineering in a more redneck way. The gate example, I have two people on the gate. That's more leverage, but you have to move the gate longer, right? Because you're farther away from the pivot point. Well, with an adjustable trigger with the set screws, we can actually bring the activation point right to the end of the gate. So you have really easy movement and then activation point right there. Hope that makes sense. That's what we did on the mech frame. So if you don't use mech, so you can write that part off. If you do, and you were frustrated like me to go against people that had much faster equipment, you're in for a treat if you get one of these guns. I'll say that. And I think the science explained it in a regular, Midwestern way. Hopefully you guys grasp that. All right. So you get both frames. You get the electronic frame. You get the mechanical frame. Both frames have the matching ASA, obviously. So you get, two ASAs. That's how we did the TM40. That's another look. You could see the break point. It's really kind of a weird. It's like a half ASA, but these two pieces have to go together, so it makes sense. The mech frame has our same machining as last time. If I held them up side by side, like we just basically have this little dip point. That's our TM40 had that. It's like not rounded. It's like a dip kind of little guard. And both of our frames have the kind of the same design. So it's a good question. Good question. Oh, shout out to G Money, my son. I'm glad you tuned in, buddy. All right, so let's move on. Um, so both of them have the ASA. I've showed you how it's a little bit taller, but I don't think it's any. We if you're going to notice something, you don't notice the height. You notice the adjustment forward and back, which is why we gave you that adjustment. You don't notice a quarter inch on the height holding it, just because it's actually below the holding point, if that makes any sense, and it doesn't add any weight. But you can notice when you bring it in and out, and that's why we think that adjustment uh, is is a great improvement. Um, all right, so let's move on. There's more stuff. Each one has an Adrenaline SAS Freak XL insert with it, 686 size. So we're not doing the dual size small bore large bore concept. We have one SAS at 686. It's the best thing we did in a long time. Those that have played with it can you ask a buddy that's played with it. Got nothing but 5-star reviews on it. You can run probably a 682 with almost every paint on the planet. So it's a great add-on, and we're never going away from that. It's a real big bitch to laser and to prep and to make, but it's worth it. And I got the time, I guess. And large vertical foregrip. I've talked about that already. Let's move on to the bolts. So we have a Bernoulli bolt system, and I know I've posted about that a little bit, and I'm going to go into I'm going to take the science. I'm going to throw again another Midwestern twist on it, and I'm going to show you what we've done. But the Bernoulli principle is it's basically if you have a constant flow of a fluid, which air and gas is actually a fluid, then if you kind of choke an endpoint, you have an increase in velocity and decrease of pressure. We actually designed a Bernoulli bolt for an Angel LCD, and then we got pissed at WDP. We didn't make it, and by the time we moved to the Impulse, it didn't work out. So this is actually about 22 years in the making for us. But essentially, it's the same principle that runs a garden hose. So if you can consider take a garden hose, cut the end off, and you have a constant flow of water coming out, it's going to go, I don't know, 6 feet. Put a garden hose, end on it, like a jet stream. It's got the same amount of water is going to go, I don't know, 15, 20 feet. That's the Bernoulli principle, and that's what we used in our bolt system. If you took an open face bolt and stuck it into a garden hose and turned it on, and then took our bolt and stuck it into a garden hose and turned on, you're going to see, and I'll do that one day, you're going to see a dramatic increase in distance. And what that means is more velocity, lower pressure. And when you're doing low pressure, it's only good things happen. So here is, for instance, let's bring my screen back on. We'll go over these real quick. Some of you guys don't care about this science; you just know that it works, but it's important because it's a big difference, and it's important to us. So I'm going to show it to you. So here's a stock bolt, fairly open. It does come in a little bit on the end. It's got these holes in the back. I'm going to mention that in a little bit. Here is the Adrenaline Bernoulli bolt. So you can see how it channels in at the end as, again, kind of like the end of a garden hose. It's not dramatic, right? We're not making like a crazy one, but if you could see the end, here's actually where the O-ring is, and this is actually just aluminum right here. It's a decent amount when you're talking thousandths. So we're channeling in. Again, if you can't understand the Bernoulli principle, you haven't had fluid dynamics, you haven't had physics, just think of a garden hose. That's what's going on here. The other thing that's going on this bolt, and I'll go to the next piece, it's a little more close face because of this, but is the back. So let's show you the bolt guide. So here's a stock bolt guide. Ours is custom. It's different. Air is back here. There's an Air's back here. There's an O-ring here. Okay. When the bolt's back here. When the bolt goes forward, air kind of rushes around this piece and rushes into where the bolt guide extension is, and then on through the bolt and the barrel. So what they did on the idle compared to like a TM40 bolt. So if people think there's not much difference, there's actually dramatic differences. On the idle, what they did, the stock idle, they had these holes. It's smart, right? So when the bolt starts passing the O-ring, like let's say the O-ring is right here, as it breaks that O-ring, a little bit of air actually goes through these holes, and then more air, more air. And so it's, instead of being a dam breaking bam of all the air, it's a millisecond of a little bit of air and then the rest of the air. So it's not a huge hit. Ours has these flanges, teeth, I don't know, whatever you want to call them. So again, picture the O-ring is here. It's holding all the air. As it goes forward, air is going to more and more and more and more and more and more, and then all the air. So it's a slower release of the air. It makes it softer. People, when you shoot these things, you say, "Oh, that kind of feels different." I'm just trying to explain to you little things of like why it may feel like a softer shot. Is it's not a dam breaking on the air. It's a millisecond of air, and then the rest of the air. So it makes it a softer feel. Also, on this same concept, let's just go look at the. This is a stock bolt guide extension. That's stock. Um, it's got holes in it, kind of like this air intake, and this is a larger hole here at the end. This is ours. It's pretty radically different. It's solid, so the air is channeled down and around and through the Bernoulli throat, so to speak. And then this very small hole here. This is actually where the return air, basically, its recock cycle happens by air going back through here, and it helps recock it. So ours is smaller. So it's a delayed recock. I mean, we're talking again milliseconds. It doesn't slow. You can still fire as fast as you want. But it makes it a much smoother recock cycle. So there is no like recoil on the recock. It's zero recoil. So you got aluminum hitting aluminum, bam, 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 bam. This smoother recock cycle means zero to no recoil, and it's noticeable. So again, trying to give you the science on it a little bit and some of the things we did. I always show what we did. I don't care. You guys want to copy off of us. People are copying stuff we did 3 years ago. By then we'll be doing the Luxe Z. So I don't care. So this is our bolt guide. It's a different, so I've showed you the bolt guide tip. This is our bolt guide. The green is not part of it. It shows some of the areas we changed to basically hold on to it. Because the way we're changing the air, we have to make sure it's secure, and also the way the air goes around it. This is a good question. So our bolt core, which is a 4-piece set. So you get the can, the bolt guide, and the bolt guide extension. Will not really fit. It'll fit into an idle, a stock idle, no problem. It'll fit in a TM40, but anything under like a 680 insert and a 678 insert, with the stroke length, basically you could damage your insert. Ryan Moore had talked about that as well, on just whether they put the stock core into it. Same thing with ours. It goes a little more forward, so then a very small bore, it could actually damage a small insert on a TM40. It will fit in an era, and we will be having kits, and it's a badass little kit. Like, this is our box. Let me see so you can see it's got the Bernoulli boy, and this is actually the physics fluid dynamics principle of it that we put on the box. It's a sweet little box. That's the kit that you could get as an aftermarket down the road if you're not able to snag a gun, and it'll be those 4 pieces. And then also the bolt itself has, again, WS2 coating on the bolt and the can, which are the moving parts. So the bolt guide extension do not have the coating. They don't move. The bolt and the bolt can do have WS2 coating, which is the slickest dry lubricant known to man. So, basically we have, let's go back and I'll slow down the science here a little bit, but let's just do one more thing with friction coefficient and with the Bernoulli system. So we got WS2 coated bolt and can. That's the slickest dry lubricant known to man. We've got PTFE, which, it's Teflon basically, on the SAS insert, and SAS stands for slick as shit. So you got the second slickest dry lubricant known to man on our barrel insert. And then you have the actual Bernoulli system that we designed. Those 3 things kind of have like a synergy that individually, like, oh, that'd be good, that'd be good, that'd be good. When those 3 things combine together, it is, I hate using synergy, but it is a what they say a sniper is. It's the battlefield, a sniper is it boosts the effect. Basically, when those 3 things go together, it has a dramatic effect, and you can see that they play on each other. And so you're talking basically zero friction coefficient. Some people have just joined late. I'm going to show the marker again here in just a second. But I just wanted to go over some of the efficiency is out of control. So, but just going to the SAS insert alone, it was a 10 feet per second jump. So that saves velocity. Just going to our bolt, there's a bolt test that a guy did with all the bolts, and this is on the TM40. It was like a 10 feet per second jump. And then the Bernoulli system is completely designed for a velocity increase and a decrease of pressure, and a softer feel on the stroke. Those three things is a major increase of velocity, which equates to, you're not going on the field 330, so you're going to turn your reg down, which equates to basically more efficiency. Dude, thank you so much. I'm live here. I couldn't think of that. Sniper is the force multiplier. These things together is like individually alone, they're great and it'd be a good mod. But when they're all together, it's like a force multiplier. And you can, and I think it does it. Trifecta would have worked, but I was looking for force multiplier. So anyway, that's the science behind the Bolt system. It's 4-part system. We will be offering it separate. So for people who have stock system, we will be also offering the ASA, a very limited amount of those. And it'll have our machine milling on it in dust black. So I don't know, if you just want the built-in slide rail with it's the same on-off lever too. Basically, it can work in a fully resting position, just like the stock idle. So cases, we have our own case, we have our own exterior case, our own interior cases, which there's 2 of those. So the stock idle comes with, like, I don't know if you've seen it yet, that people have shown it. This is the stock idle case. It's nice. We actually used the same case. The only thing we changed, I don't have this yet, but I have a video of it, is we just took away the gold and went with a like a blacked out. Let me show the screen again. So it's just a blacked out exterior case. It's got our logo on it. Sorry, I can't. There we go. Hey, there's a video of it. Okay, let's see if I can get. There we go. So you can see it's a matte case, just like the stock one, but it's in a polished logos. They're actually pressed in, so, and it's got a polished look. So I think it turned out pretty nice. It's actually got our. This doesn't have our zippers. These are stock zippers. We actually made our own zippers. Our zippers look like. Let me remove this and I'll show you, because I have the same zippers on our interior case. Nothing big, but when you're designing this stuff for 3 years, you end up spending 5 days on a zipper. So anyway, it's got the logo on the zipper. So that is the exterior case. It also is blacked out on that. They have gold bungee on the inside, and ours is black bungee. So it is kind of a murdered out design on that. So the interior cases, ours is basically the same as the interior cases, except same thing. I'm going to take off my screen. So this is this is the case that has the barrel sleeves on the back. You've seen others. Same thing. It's a gloss. There you go. That's a good example right there. Oh, I had it. It's a gloss logo. The inside's the same. It does have our zippers, and then the back is the same. The other case it's got Scully, and then the back, it has the Elite since 1997 on it. And then it has the certificate of authenticity seal card. Theirs just comes blank because you can put your player's card in there. But I'm going to talk about this in a sec, because I actually have a few bucks in each of these, and it's a really cool feature. But we'll talk about that in just a sec. I'll leave this out for now. Each gun comes with this. And then we've really upgraded our mech frame case. This is it's same concept. This is the mech case. So last year, if you had one, or 3 years ago now, you had a neoprene case. This is the new mech case design. It's much smaller than a standard case, and it holds the mech frame, mech grips, and your solenoid or your mech valve. So that's all of our cases. Each of these come in. Welcome, Will. I'll catch you up here in just a sec. I'm going to show the gun. If you haven't seen, I'll bring it back on here just a sec. Each of these, somebody mentioned, and I mentioned before, the unboxing experience. I just want to say, so I've had people that have emailed me like, hey, I subscribed. This is my first Adrenaline. I've always wanted one. I couldn't afford it. Now I can, and maybe the only one I get. So we wanted this one to be special. Some people have had 30 Adrenalines, 40 Adrenalines. It's crazy, but some people, this will be the only one they have. So we wanted to make it special for those guys. So we made my son, who's on here, he's a big shoe sneakerhead, and I will show the gun here in just a sec, Garrett. But he gets these shoes and he keeps all the boxes, and we have like a shit ton of boxes in his bedroom that he keeps for his Kobe's or whatever. But they come in with such great presentation that basically I copied and said, I want to do just an unboxing box experience that's just really cool, even if they throw it away or they keep it or whatever. But I'm gonna show, this is, I got a little bit of piece that's sticking out here. This way. Oh. So this is just the box that it comes in. This is one of the little things, like something we don't recoup financially, but it's a matte black hard box. This is foil, gloss foil, each logo, and it's magnetic lid on the front. You open it up, it's got gloss silver. You can see the Elite since 1997. It comes with the cases are individually in here, 3 cases. So like when you open it up, you'll have, the mech case will be on top, wrapped in the cello, and then the stock idle, or not the stock idle, our idle case. And they all go in this box, and who knows, you may throw it away afterwards, but it's a nice little thing that we just wanted to make it a a cool unboxing experience. Somebody said they got here late, so I want to see the gun again. I'm going to bring it back on, and we'll talk about that. And then I've still got more to talk about. So let's bring this back on stage. So if you're just getting here late, it is dragon scale and dragon skin design. Nothing like it. I mean, people have done dragons before, but you're talking like the relief of like a couple thou, when these relief are measured in eighths and quarters of inches. So it's pretty radical. You've got we had to do our own body to make this work for 2 reasons. One, for the relief that I'll show you some better on the scales here in a little bit, but also for the cocker threads. It is auto cocker threaded. So if you want a Luxe with cocker threads, you're going to have to be fast next week, because there's not going to be many open for the public when we go live, I don't think. And that's not based on tonight's video, it's just based on subscribers and NFT holders. So anyway, let's go through these real quick. So just to get the angle, yes, we did the whole barrel. Last time when we did the shocker was the first one, or no, the shocker, we did a full body design down to the ASA first time. Then we were the first to do the full body design with a barrel back. And I don't know why we didn't do a barrel tip, but now we got full body design with the barrel back and the barrel front. So, continuous concept, every single piece is machined. That shows you a little bit of some of like the 3D relief on this. It's the other side, the passenger side. It's got our own ASA. If you're just tuning in, our ASA, it's unique to our gun. It's adjustable about 5/8 of an inch, like an old dovetail or slide rail, but it's a little bit more advanced than that. So you've got cocker threads, adjustable ASA. It's about 1/4 inch taller because of that. And the body is longer, but the whole system, I didn't talk about this earlier, but a cocker barrel just goes into the body more. So front to back, this is length of a stock idle. It's just that the exposed barrel is shorter than the stock idle barrel. It's hard to explain, but our body's longer. Our barrel looks shorter. It's the same length, but it's just more is hidden in the body itself. It's the same length as a stock idle. It's just a little bit more on the body part of it. This shows you the relief on the scales and how each one our CAD guy had to create by hand, one by one. So like, he had to match it up, and I'm talking like tons of effort and time for each individual one. And we were a pain in the ass to deal with, because I kept sending it back saying, no, tweak this, tweak that. This one needs to be slid up on the middle of this one. It's off. It's too lined up, whatever. So anyway, that is the look again. If you're tuning in late, I don't have physical prototypes because we don't usually show like raw parts. It's too hard. People don't have good imagination. So I actually had to pay to have these rendered based on the machining programs. I mean, this is what's going to pop out, but I basically paid to have 6 photos made and rendered, just so people, because I've learned in the past long ago, they don't have a good imagination when you just hold up a raw body. You can see on the back strap, which is a new piece to the idle, we have our own design here. I think this will be good for grip, the way we've designed this. This will actually be a jewel here. And then this, he couldn't render this very well, but this is actually a deep engraved piece. So it's not like a machined piece for detail. It's a deep engraved piece, but that'll be present it's not a laser engraved after the fact. It's a part of the actual, machining. Okay, so couple of the small things. We have our own boot up screen. I've shown that. This is actually a stock backstrap and stock frame. It's funny. I thought some people may try to blow up the exposure and the brightness to see if there's anything up here. And I actually put an Easter egg up here that if you blow up the brightness, it says, "Bro, do you even Photoshop?" But no one took the time to do that. So I wasted 15 minutes doing that. But you never know. We're going to have some Easter eggs in there going forward, I guess. Um, So here's another vision of the box. If you tuned in late, that's the exterior box. I just hadn't shown that yet. If you tuned in late, I know Rios got here late and wanted to know if it was fast and mechanical. This is our mech trigger in a Shocker era, a new, brand new Shocker era mech frame. The trigger is huge. The opening is legal. It's the same opening, but we put more trigger up here. And I don't think it's too much science to understand. Like the farther away you're working from the pivot point, the easier it is to operate. And so by hiding more up here, it makes it easier down. Sorry, I keep doing that. By hiding more up here, it makes it easier to pull down here. So it's a longer trigger. It won't even fit in the stock idle mech frame. I mean, it's not like it's not even remotely going to fit, but it's it's a little bit too big to fit in this stock idle mech frame, and that's the concept from that. Um, so if you're also tuning in, those are our flutes. That provides it makes it a smoother experience instead of like a boost of air over like the TM40. The stock idle has holes, and we did like the flutes or teeth, whatever you want to call it. That is our own bolt guide extension. It's part of the Bernoulli principle. Google it if you want, but again, it's kind of like a water hose concept. That's our bolt guide, and then I don't have the bolt can, but it's a stock can with WS2 coating. Um, let's go with, I think that's the bulk of those I want to show you. It also comes with the adrenaline titanium nitride tool set. Why is that important? If you're really like taking them apart, and now with the ability to re-anno like a quick ship, because the lack of magnets and pressed foot pins, our tool set actually includes the 7/64 and non-64, which are missing from the stock set, but are used if you went to full disassembly. So we made our tool set for the idle, and actually it's for the TM40, but luckily it's the same hex screws. But we made it just for that, so it has every one you needed, including the 7/64 and non-64s. You will get the stock set plus ours that has titanium nitride coating, which is like a lifetime coating kind of thing. So, and then let's talk about this. Is kind of neat. The ID card that you get. So, serial number 10, Signature Series 1, Baba Yaga. This is the actual ID card for my gun. You can see it's got like a superimposed the scales on the back. This says you can take it to the DLX, almost a WDP, the DLX booth at an event and get VIP treatment, just like some of the other guys have VIP cards. On the front is the certificate of authenticity. This is actually an adrenaline one. You can see the little itty bitty logo. We actually pay a fee for each of these stickers, and it's put on the blockchain. We pay the fees. If you don't know anything about crypto or blockchain or that stuff, all you need to know is when you get it, you're going to get a certificate of authenticity. But it's not like what everybody's done in the past, where you print it off and like you stuff it in your drawer or whatever. This one is actually goes. You'll have it, but it actually goes onto the blockchain. So if you want to sell me your Joker Adrenaline Idol, I can go onto it. You can actually send me the QR code, or I can scan it at an event, or I can go onto to your profile, and it'll say, yes, we sold you serial number 202. It's original factory anodizing was a Joker pattern. It belongs to John Smith, and it's authentic. So you don't need the legit checks so much, because if they don't have this, you can't check it. So all you have to do is show this. It eliminates a lot of the fraud and legit checks and things like that. If you transfer it, there's a button you click and say, I sold it to Fred Jones. And then all of a sudden that transaction is on the blockchain forever. And they see that John Smith sold to Fred Jones. The money's not on there. So then it says that Fred Jones is a legit owner. So it's something that it shows up in your Adrenaline account. It's pretty sweet. But it also shows up if you're required to create a Verisart account if you go farther with it, and it shows up there, and all your adrenalines will show up there, and you can transfer it out and print off your your certificate of authenticity, which is separate from this, and it's maintained in a virtual space, I guess, on the blockchain. So it's easy to see if someone owns it. So if someone's, making one of those fake Facebook profiles, it's super easy to double check and see if they own this. So it's just a little thing we wanted to do, and it's built into our site. As soon as you check out, you're going to get a receipt, and you're going to get a separate email that includes how you claim your certificate of authenticity, and you put it in your email account, and you put it in your son's for Christmas or whatever. It's a pretty cool system. We actually pay a good little fee for that to make it work, and it's maintained by them. And if you buy it and someone doesn't transfer the certificate to you, there's a procedure where you can provide proof and get them involved, and they'll help transfer it to you that way. So it's cool little feature to help kind of reduce fraud and legit checks and all that stuff. I would show you. Let me just see something real quick. Bear with me, guys. One sec here, boys. I'm going to show you kind of some of this stuff in action. I'll just do one for you here. All right. Let's bring this sucker back on. All right, so this is my account on Adrenaline. This is one of my test accounts. And I clicked the NFT tab, which has a couple NFTs, but also has any Adrenaline guns I've ever bought that has a certificate of authenticity. I tested the Baba Yaga on the TM40 a while back just to see how it works. It has the year it was created, so yours will say Adrenaline 2024. This is the 2022. It has the seal, which is the highest level that Verisart adds, and you can see it on Verisart if you go to your account. So on here, this is where you could transfer it. Like if Rios bought my gun, I could transfer it to Rios. This is you can download a PDF of the certificate of authenticity at any time with the QR code that matches the one that's on your card in your case. It's all coordinated. It's pretty, it's a nice system. And it tells you everything here. So let's go. So it's got the little Adrenaline paintball as the creator. It's got my little autograph there as the creator. It's got who the owner is. So this will be your name. If you've sold it, it'll have the history, like transferred. And this is just where it was transferred from Adrenaline to me personally, James Grayley. But then if you sold it again, this is where I link the QR code with my phone. So it's linked to my account and locked in. And then it has a certificate of authenticity. The plus is their highest level, which means if they say it's legit, then you can pretty much bank on it. They do like, $1 million pieces of art, Picassos and stuff. So this is actually the first, obviously something like this they've done, and they were kind of excited to get involved, and we're excited to offer it. So you can see it says QR code linked right here. Whenever you get your gun, it'll have your card, you link it, you get your account, you link it, and this will show up in your account and also on your Adrenaline account. It's pretty sweet. And it's easy to transfer and print out your certificate. And it's mostly it's cool for collection, but also, to prevent, fraud and to see if it's been re-anodized. I answer a lot of questions like, hey, what was the original pattern of this one? You can see, okay, originally it was a full send. So that someone redid it. So anyway, that's kind of that element of it as well. So I wanted to show that. Again, not something we raise the price on, it's just something we kind of throw in. All right, so I think that covers like the mods. I think it covers the design. I'm going to dive into the questions. I'll be honest, I've not seen a question if you posted it more than the last 2 minutes ago. So I'm going to go and just kind of look near the end. Where can we order? So if you are a Premier subscriber, you will get an email probably tomorrow, and it won't be like, hey, go buy now. You'll have 24 hours notice. So you're going to say like, hey, Sunday to Monday, or we may do Monday, Tuesday, just to everybody get their ducks in a row. And then the Premier Pro will have a 24-hour exclusive window. You won't have a crazy rush. You'll be able to browse around, pick stuff out. If you missed the mech frame, I've already shown it twice. I'll go back and watch it. I'm sorry. I've already did it twice. So then Premier Plus will have 24 hours exclusive. Then Premier will have 24 hours exclusive. Our few people that are Elite or Flaming Skull, they're eligible guns, which is the Prism and the 24 karat gold plated, which is absolutely bonkers. Um, starts with Premiere Pro, so those windows will be the entire time right off the bat. If you have an NFT, that window also opens up at the very beginning, and that is our rose gold rhodium, which is actually rhodium. It's just as expensive as gold. We just charge a little less. It's a little bit less, but it's super expensive. It's a jewelry grade rhodium. And then black chrome. Those are all plated, and like the rhodium is a straight freaking mirror. If you haven't seen it, we made a reg on it. You can look it up. So we have the black chrome, which is super reflective, and the rhodium, which is a black flat out mirror. Those are for the NFT guys, and that's just during their little window on those patterns only. Then after all that, and I expect that to be a significant amount of guns based on subscribers and NFT holders. After the Premiere window closes, we will probably either the next day or maybe a couple hours later, because I got to change the website around, go live to the public with whatever's left. So everything somebody asked, the window is open. You're going to get an email. I don't know what everybody's, so Elite and Flaming Skull is going to open up right when Premiere Pro does. And then after 24 hours, Premiere Plus will open, and then 24 hours, Premiere will open. After all that closes, we'll let the dust settle. I got to figure out how much inventory is left, if any left, and then we'll go live to the public. Yes, I have people that I know. Some people are eligible for up to 4 guns because they have an NFT and then they're Premiere Pro. But there's only, I think, 3 or 4 people on the planet that have that privilege. But some people are going to be getting multiple units, which means, it is what it is. We don't just sell to collectors. I'll sell to anyone. If you get one, that's great. But if not, we make a gun every 3 years. So it's difficult as a company when we're spending money on R&D, paying a very significant deposit to get these bodies made, that we don't sell. I last sold a TM40 in May of 22. So it's going almost 2 years now when I last sold a gun. So the subscriptions really keep us kind of going. It's really beneficial to us. So we reward those people. And it's not, the cheapest one is $108 a year. So I guarantee you, I don't guarantee it. I take that back. I have a feeling, based just on the TM40s, you could make $108 if you flipped an Adrenaline. People are going to be able paying for 10 years of subscriptions if they wanted to flip one of these, but you won't want to once you shoot it. So it's a free subscription if you want to play it as a financial decision, but you will want to shoot this thing because especially if you play mech, and just in general, it's less recoil, it's smoother. I've tried to explain the science on that. I will do separate videos. I'll do a video of like more in depth on what's going on with the core. And that way people can tune out if they don't really care about what's going on. And I'll do maybe a separate one with the trigger showing exactly what we did and how many thousands bigger and why that is better being near the end versus right up at the pivot point. I think that's self-explanatory, but I'll try to do a couple of extra videos on like, dimensions of what we added and things like that. But this is the, kind of the overall thing. So let's just talk about, I'm getting these questions. So like, I'll show you, gosh, they're going through it fast. So that's not, these comments are coming pretty quick. So cut off to buy an NFT to get rhodium is tomorrow. So here's what's going on. My son has basketball in the morning. I'm not messing with anything at night. Tomorrow after basketball, I'm going to figure out who has NFTs and who has subscriptions. Good question. And I'm going to make the lists up. And then I'll be sending out emails. Again, Pro goes first, along with the NFTs and the Flaming Skull and Elite guys, which is just a few of those dudes. And when the site goes live, you guys will be able to see it. So you'll see I'm adding hundreds of products. So like Apocalypse Now was sold on Adrenaline Shocker. No one bought Apocalypse Now on an Adrenaline Luxe TM40. I'm going to show an item, Adrenaline Idol, in Apocalypse Now. And I'm going to show like the images you're seeing tonight. And then I'm going to show the Adrenaline Shocker in Apocalypse Now. So you don't have to use your imagination to the fullest extent. You can say, okay, I see pretty much what it looks like. I'm going to show a Joker. The two Grizzlies we're doing with Chris. So we're doing a regular Grizzly, which you've seen in the past, and then we're doing a polar bear, which is going to be dust white. So the Grizzly is dust black with gloss red blood all over it. It's a bloody mess, and just what you expect from a Grizzly and Chris. The polar bear is dust white all over with the same gloss blood red. So that one I won't have an image of. You just have to use your imagination, but I will show the black and red Grizzly for that product. So if I have done it before and it's something that we think, hey, this is good, we're going to offer it, I'll show prior pictures, because I found that some people have this crazy imagination and they want to send me like 30 photographs, and you'll see there's upload windows and descriptions, and you can upload your own design. And there's going to be one called customer design. You check out there, you describe it, you upload your photos. We'll work with you hand in hand. If you need a proof, we'll email you a proof. If you're not that kind of guy and you'd rather just see some prior ones, we'll show you like 200 prior guns, and you can say, "Ooh, I like that one. What would that look like on an idle?" I don't know. You got to decide. You got to guess that part. But we'll make it, and you can at least see what it looked like on either our Shocker or our TM40. So that's a good question. Crest for custom anno. So let's talk about that. So what we're doing on the custom jobs is we're doing the single digit serial numbers first, because I promised those dudes that. Honestly, most of them are Flaming Skull or higher anyway, which means they would get to pick their serial numbers. That would be like the double digits, like 11, 12, 13. So they would be going early anyway, but those guys are going first. Then I'm going in order placed, not necessarily serial number. So if you're the very first Premiere Pro dude, you check out and you request serial number 420 because of whatever reason, and you're the first guy placed, I'm going to build yours next. I'm not going to necessarily build them, because some of these guys can request serial numbers if they've been with us long enough. It's a benefit of Premiere Pro subscriber. You'll see there's multiple serial number request boxes, because let's say you want whatever number, 23, and it's taken. I don't want to have to talk to everybody 20 times. Just you give me your second choice and third choice, if you're even eligible. Only certain people are eligible to call their serial number. But we're going in order of how the order is placed. So the Premiere Pro guns are going to be made first, then the Premiere Plus, then the Premiere, then the Public. So if you're in a hurry and you don't want to wait, and you don't care as much about getting a factory anno job, now they don't have the magnets, and they don't have the press fit pins in it, and they only have red Loctite on one screw in the whole body, which is a dramatic change. We used to say, don't buy a quick ship and re-anno. If you can't wait, you could buy a quick ship, and there's going to be a lot of quick ships, just like we did last time, black and red, and just like you picture, this is a pewter gold quick ship. That's what that was showing tonight, was a pewter gold quick ship. What is a quick ship? If you're new to Adrenaline, that is anodized in Asia, which is where pretty much everyone else does their work. Not everyone, but almost everyone else. And it is not as nice as what we're doing with everything else, the custom anodized jobs, which are anodized in the United States at like Outlaw or Blizzard. Lone Wolf and Mason are getting a very limited amount of guns, and they're using ARC. So those are going to be way better polished. If you especially want a polished job, they have the option of doing 3D dual finish, which is like a Grizzly, where some of it's polished, some of it's dust. But if you can't wait and you want a cheaper gun, you could get a quick ship. You get a pewter gold quick ship, just like I showed, and then send it off to the anodizer of your choice. And then instead of being number 184 in line with me, you're number 1 in line with yourself. But I'm spending a lot of money with these guys, so they're going to be doing mine fast. But so it's an option if you really like. I can't wait. If you're a subscriber, a pro subscriber, get one that you want custom done. We'll do it, and then get a quick ship and send it off if you want it. It'll be done quick. So that's an option. The only thing I have to worry about is that one screw that is Loctite. So if you have, let's say you're Premiere Pro, this isn't a lot of people, but let's say you're Premiere Pro and you have an NFT, you could get the NFT plated like rose gold, which is gorgeous, or rhodium or the black chrome, and you can get your 2 because you earned it in different ways. Same thing with my elite guys. Like if you're a Flaming Skull, you earned it by buying a crap load of Adrenaline guns. I'm not going to punish you and put you in the same category as the guy that bought a $108 subscription. So you can get your Flaming Skull stuff, Prism, which we're doing Prism. If you're familiar with that, it's a different process than what everybody else uses. And in that, it's the base layer. It's what's going on under the Prism and the prep and all they're doing. That's why it sticks so well. I'm not going to talk too much about it, but I think it's a superior product on the Prism. It's the same company's doing Prism that's doing 24K, rhodium, rose gold, all that stuff. Those will actually go pretty quick too, because that is a huge outfit. I'm the only paintball company they do. I had to have major meetings with engineering and present all kinds of technical drawings. It's a bunch of bull. But anyway, they're huge outfits. They'll turn all that stuff around quick. So the plated stuff should come pretty quick. We are doing, I think there's about 14 people in the world that are eligible for 24 karat gold plated. I have no idea if any of them will even do it, but that's because that's $3,200. But when those people send me the bill for Prism, it says on the top, rhodium market price so much an ounce, 24 karat gold market price so much an ounce. So you're getting full blown freaking custom when I'm getting precious metal market price quotes to do your gun. So I don't think you're getting that anywhere else. 600 units is right. 600 units. I'm almost positive we're doing 200 quick ships. Why 200? Last time we did 175 and they went fast. People that don't want to wait. And then I think this time people may take some more quick ships and just basically re-anodize them themselves. So Chris is not eligible unless you guys buy a bunch of grizzlies and polar bears. So help a brother out. No, he will be rocking the Adrenaline Idol again. We're excited to be working with Chris and all the vets guys, the veteran militia. We love those guys. We still offer the SAS sets with the logo on it, and we'll be offering the SAS kits when you check out at a discount too if you buy it when you get your gun. If you're Premiere Pro, yes, you could get a foil, which is a fake prism. It's an anodized prism, and a custom collar. No problem. Yep, you got it. So if you don't understand how our subscriptions work, everybody just gets one gun, but Premiere Pro, which is a higher level, they've paid for it. They get the right to get 2 guns, whether they keep them both or flip them or whatever. We have more than, well more than 100 people at that level. So you can see if they all got 2 guns, that's 200 gone off the bat. So I expect probably more than 400 gone, 500 gone, 400 plus gone before we go live to the public. We are using bot prevention so that, Shopify, which is what we use, they have a nice service that analyzes your purchases and it prevents bots from checking out. Same thing like Nike does on their drops and stuff like that. So we're using the bot prevention so people can't try to, beat you to the punch, because I think it will be a little bit of a race when we go to the public on that. But I think most people that are eligible are going to grab 2. And then I know I have people that are getting 4, which is just a few people on the planet that like Patrick Freeberg, who I've mentioned before, has owned over 25 adrenaline shockers. He earned it. I'm not going to punish the dude. I mean, you buy 25 adrenaline idols, I will remember you down the road. So, I'm not going to punish those guys. So yeah, he's going to get 4 guns and he deserves it. Just like we listen to people on the Cocker threads, we remember the people that support us when, there's crickets going on. So whether you like it or not, that's kind of just how we roll. Yes, this is a good point. Somebody posted earlier how many flaming skulls, because there could be a lot. And so I was trying to decide, because now, flaming skull is $5,000 spend with adrenaline. Well, that's not too hard. I mean, there'll be people hitting that, a lot more people hitting that this one. So I thought, well, man, maybe we should limit it to elite only on the prisms. But then I had people right at the end of the TM40 say, man, I just hit flaming skull. Next gun, I'll be able to get a prism. I've always wanted one. So it'd be a dick move to like, hey, the new gun's coming out, but now you're not eligible because I bumped it to 10,000. So again, we're just trying to be reasonable here. If you earned it, then you could get it. Maybe not everybody will get a prism. So we raffled a prism. Will, if he's still on here, I know we got 8,300, which is an all-time record. The record was 8,200, and I told Will, make it 83 just because I feel like we should have the record. So I would get a prism if I was eligible, just because the value. I know, I don't know if Vince just flipped his. He's had one for long. Usually we used to say, you get a prism, you can't sell it ever because it's so rare, and we don't want you flipping it and making, thousands of dollars. We're not making thousands. Now we basically said, you own it, you've earned it, you spent money with us, do whatever the crap you want with it. we're not going to restrict you on like you got to own it for a year or anything like that. But I know Vince had a Prism. He just sold a Shocker, I think, not too long ago, and they're still going way over what people paid for it. So again, I think all those guys, unless they just can't afford it, are probably going to get one because it's probably, you know, a significant profit for those dudes. If you know, because I know people that aren't eligible that want one, and I've said, well, look, after we release, just post up and say who has a Prism that doesn't want to keep it, and go from there. I know I'm sure Will have some that will be, spinning and stuff. So just stay tuned, and you'll be able to probably find some sweet ones that people are eligible for. Let's say they're eligible for a rhodium. There's only so many people eligible for that, and they got it just a flip. Again, you earned it. Do what you want, man. It's your money. I'm not going to be a dick about it. I wish we could make the money, the profit. If Prisms are going for 4,000 over cost or what we sold retail. I wish I could make it, but that's what the subscriptions do. So they help me out a little bit on that. So everybody wins, I guess. Uh, Pat wants, actually, Pat did do it. He's in the process of trying to do an adoption. I don't know if he got it or not. But pray for those guys, him and his wife, if they, I don't know, they're trying to do an adoption. So, I think you missed the boat on that, Lou. Sorry. What's up, Chris? Glad you made it. I think everybody saw everything. That we showed to go back and watch it. But again, it's cocker threaded. We're excited about that. It's the only one ever done on the Luxe, obviously, because we had our own extrusion. And once we got there, like, okay, well then the machining can obviously get a little more radical. So we went nobody, I don't care if people have done dragon themes before. No one has done 1/8 inch dragon scales all over the damn thing. When you start wrapping around the edges on CAD and machine time, it's crazy. So like we did first pyramids on our TM40 all over the gun. We wrapped it around. Now you're seeing people do like pyramids just on a side, because when you start wrapping around, the machine time and cycle time is astronomical to tie that all in together. And I'm not saying that's why they're not doing it. I'm glad they're not copying the full design, but that's one part of it, is when you wrap a pattern like that, it's not an automag, right? It's not like a cylindrical barrel. It's super complex to wrap a design like that and to make it all tie in. And it's a stupid amount of CAD time and then cycle time on the machines. I've wanted to do this. I buy them as kits, so that's why we've done it this way. I do know that you could get by on the bottom 3 bores for almost, if you've had these, you know what I'm talking about. I've got a guy that literally takes one bore, the 678, to the field. Our SAS is the most underappreciated product I've ever sold. It is freaking radical game changer. At least everybody will get one insert, and I'll get the word out, because we only have a few out there. But the people that have them are just, they're head over heels with them, because you can use a 8.2 for 690 paint. You underbore, 3 sizes. It provides more consistency, more velocity, lowering the operating pressure, which equals more efficiency. I think I've shown you just the way we're talking about freaking fluid dynamics. We know our science. I think we know what's going on. We're going to have a show soon with Hans, who's the main engineer behind the Luxe. He wants to do a live show. So he and I are going to go, he's going to remote in. We're going to do a show fairly soon where we just talk about the technology, how it's evolved on the Idol versus the TM40, their parts and our parts, and what we're seeing. And I think it's going to be a good show if you're a gun nerd and you want to, talk to some gun engineers, about some cool stuff. We're excited. He doesn't do that. So he's, I'm excited to drag him on, and that'll be cool. Thanks. Appreciate it. Better in every way. It's Teflon, right? So like if you took 2,000 grit sandpaper and rolled it up, put it in your barrel, because some people say, oh, a barrel's a barrel, it doesn't freaking matter. Put 2,000 grit sandpaper in your barrel and shoot it. Okay. That's going to be dog shit, right? So, and not just because the little things are hitting the ball, it's just the friction, right? So ask your grandma about Teflon on pots and pans. That's what we got on the barrel. So the second lowest friction coefficient on the planet for that type of coating is Teflon. That's what's in there. And it's not some temporary dip coating that other people have done, which I'm not saying that doesn't improve performance. It's the freaking second slickest there is, and it's permanent. It's part of the electroless nickel plating. It's not going to wear off. You have to actually strip it off. So you're seeing 10 feet per second. And that doesn't sound like much because everybody goes on the field at 295. But when you're lowering your reg, you're making everything work out easier. So same thing with the Bernoulli bolt, same thing with the WS2 coating, which also did a huge velocity jump. So those three things together, that's why I was saying it's a force multiplier. You have crazy low operating pressure, which equates to all kinds of better things. I mean, if you don't believe that, go back to shooting, 800 psi automags and 500 psi angels. Trust me, the lower the better, and it just provides more consistency and less. And the way we've designed our air return, it's less kick. I think you guys will love it. If you're buying it for the looks or the cocker, you'll like it. If you're buying it for the science, you're gonna, I think, tell the difference. We've had some top end pro guys test some of our stuff. They can tell the difference. One of the guys put the stock bolt guide extension in with our bolt, and it was dog crap. And that makes sense because you got to use our whole system together. So you got to use all the parts, but when you do, it kind of makes it right. I agree, man. I love the Carnage. I've already added Carnage and polish and dust to the site on an idle. It's hidden, but two of my favorite ones. Some people do stuff and it blows me away. So somebody did like a dark Spider-Man. It was like a dust red with black cloth splash. I called it like an iron spider, I think is what we called it. I'm going to steal that. We're going to offer that for the idol. It was gorgeous. So a lot of the ideas that you guys come up with are stuff that myself and the anodizer guys couldn't even come up with. And so if you come up with stuff, we'll be excited to, make it, and maybe we'll use it on the future ones. Order the customs. If you're a non-subscriber, it's going to be late next week. We got everybody go through. Then I have to tally up what's left, make the inventory ready, and then I'm going to set a time, like with a countdown timer. Like it's going to go live, Tuesday, whatever the date is at 4 p.m., 7 p.m. or whatever. It'll probably be in the evening like this, and then you'll just have to be quick to check out. If you're a subscriber or have an NFT, you can take your time. I definitely have enough guns right now to take care of every subscriber, even the pros getting 2, and then all the NFT guys and the Flaming Skull and Elite guys. And there's going to be some left over. Now, my phone has been making noises. There's been new orders coming through, some new subscriptions, unless it's just an astronomical amount. But I will say this: if you see this and you decide to subscribe between now and tomorrow afternoon, and for some reason we run out of guns to fulfill just the subscribers, then the 2s that came at the very end, I don't care how fast you are, you're out. Like I'm going to reward the people that subscribed last August. So we'll run the numbers, and if we run out, then the people that just subscribed at the very end, like tonight, tomorrow. But as of the time I went live, I have enough for everybody. This is not possible. So unless you work with someone else. So let's say you have someone that has a 24K and you make a rhodium, then you could swap. But I can't personally do that. But you're more than welcome to swap with someone, if you know the people that have 24K eligible, it's the people that have all our guns. There's only like, again, 10, 12 people. I think Lucas Carr, he's one of them. He posted on here earlier, so you can hit him up and say, hey, get me a 24K. But anyway, there's just a few dudes that have that eligibility, but you could get one made in rhodium if you're an NFT guy and swap with them. I'm sorry, I'm seeing it. Yeah, quick ship if you aren't great with waiting, or if you want to, I said this earlier, get it, send it off. Now, look, you need to talk to your anodizer, but most of the guys now can take this thing apart, anodize, and put it back together for you. And then you can send it to us and pay for relasering, or if you're a subscriber at any level, we'll relaser for free by putting your serial number back on, your lightning bolts, all that stuff. So it looks like it was done from the factory. You just pay shipping. So that's an option, and you could get someone that's not working on hundreds of adrenalines, and they're probably able to go through it pretty quick. So that's an option, and I think, or you could just run the quick ships. I mean, those look good, dude. I've had people that say the only color option is dust black, for them. So we'll have a polished black, probably quick ship. So if you, we're doing probably the olive combos again, like the olive and gold and the olive and black. I'll probably take some parts and mix match. I'll tell you something that, one reason people do the part swapping, and I've said this before, is because Asian anodizing is not great. So you get hundreds of guns done or whatever, and you get them in, and like the purple doesn't. I'm not even doing purple this time because I get purple in and it didn't match. The best way to do that is you go from purple, silver, purple, silver, purple, silver, purple, silver, and you see everybody else rotates that. And I get it. That's smart because then they're not right next to each other, not matching. But one thing we try to do, and I will have solid color designs, is I'll take the damn purples apart and just because that's how we roll and try to match them up. So if I get your purple and Bill's purple and the frame on yours matches the one on his better, then I'll swap them so that they match. So that's something we do in the quick ship. But if you want everything to match perfect and to be shinier, you want US anodizing, you want to go with the custom route. It is going to be a pain. And so, and again, if I was getting a polish, I would want US anodizing, I would say, because, I would want, $100 polish job instead of a $5 polish job, but that's just me. They are going to be a pain. It's a pain to machine. It's a pain for CAD. It's a pain to polish. All of it is a pain, but and they're gorgeous. We're excited about it. We are not doing solid gold quick ship. I don't think, that gold looks so damn good. Let's look at that gold again, dude. I don't know. We were talking about in the company when we got these gold parts on the gold pewter that gold just looks good. Like, well, it would look good with the solid gold, I think. So if enough people, look, we listen, right? I mean, look, the barrel goes out to here. So if that's what everybody wants, we'll try to do one. The problem is gold is like, there's all kinds of different golds. Like you have like a 24 karat, like deep yellow gold. You have like the natural gold, like that Will Rocks had on his TM40. So I think this gold, the kind of a 24 karat wannabe gold, is a good gold. We're definitely gonna do accents. It looks great on the olive drab. It looks great on the black. So we may do up doing solid gold. We are doing, it's my baby. We are doing a gold pewter. We're doing this gun, gold pewter quick ship. This is what you're looking at, but the question is solid gold. But we're definitely gonna do gold on a lot of them because we loved it. We end up doing mix matching gold onto the olive. We didn't even order it that way, and it looks so good. And then we put on the black. We didn't order it that way, and it looks so good. So yeah, like we'll probably order some gold and black now. But dude, so I've seen we built them all, right? So I've seen them. Like if you put a prism next to what's the fake prism? Foil. It sounds cool on the internet, but when you put them side by side, it's like stupid. And the same thing, like when we had our regs done, I had Outlaw do some gold regs, and then I had the 24 karat gold plated regs. We've done 24 karat gold before, and side by side, it was like when girls go out and you have a 10 supermodel that goes out with her friend that's a 5. I hate to be sexist, but that's what it looks like side by side. It's night and day. So these will not even look remotely like a 24K. It's like you could see her face in the 24K. But we may end up doing that solid gold, but we're definitely gonna do the accents because it looked good. We are not doing raw bodies, but if you do not want to use Outlaw or Blizzard or wait on us, and you don't want to get a quick ship, Mason has 5 raw bodies, and Lone Wolf Paintball will have 10. When we go live, and probably not before, but we'll talk to them about when they're going to go live. They should probably wait, right? Because when we're sold out, they're going to have raw bodies to offer, and they probably use whoever you want, but I think they tend on using ARC. But if you said, hey, I want to use so and so, we are also using Caustic again. If you want to check out with us and use Caustic, which is like a Thanos or some of these crazy ones. I know that some of my guys that have done them in the past, like PJ and some of those guys, they know what's up. They know the weight. They know the cost add-on. He's going to be more money, and it's going to take longer. But he polishes the thing for like 2 days. So it's like, and he's, I think, like kind of like the new peers. He's the new goat. So he can do some patterns that nobody else can do. But we are offering Caustic again and a limited scale at an increased price. So the only gold should be 24 karat gold plated. If enough people say that, maybe we'll do that. It's easy for Luke to say because he is one of the people that get a 24 karat gold one. But maybe we'll just do the accents. And picturing a solid gold from Asia is not going to look like what you guys are thinking like anyway. because they're not great polishers. They do best with the dust and then the mid to light polishing. But yeah, if you've seen Prism and foil side by side, it is it's funny, and that's the same thing with like the golds. I've had them. So I've had a 24 karat gold reg beside a gold anodized reg, and it was kind of comical. The barrel was designed. I guess I don't understand what your concept. You mean like the dragon skin? All at the beginning, we started our design, and we started the first meeting in November of 21 when we made the list of things we wanted to do. Like, hey, we're going to do cocker threads. We're going to do this with the ASA. We're going to do that, and then probably 6 months in, like summer of 22, right when we sold the last TM40, we started working on the looks. We had our two inspiration pieces. The cup is the one that I bring to mind because it's kind of like the one. We had another piece that just had the scales, but dragons don't exist in real life, so this is what we used as like, hey, here's a combination of what someone thinks the dragon skin looks like and someone thinks the dragon scales look like, and we kind of went on board. I think our scales look way better, but our skin, it's kind of like a cracked earth look. But I think that's kind of like what we're going for. This exact kind of look right here on this inspiration piece. You can buy this on like AliExpress, this cup. So if you want to buy the expression piece, it's out there. I don't own it. You don't get it free with your gun, but that was one of our inspiration pieces. So yeah, a good question. We usually spend about a year on R&D and stuff, and this one was way more. But again, we've got lots of science going on this one, especially with the way we did. When you start changing pneumatics, and when Hans is on for our other show, you can talk more about it too. But you start changing pneumatics, little stupid things you do can make a huge effect. We made some pretty significant changes to 4 components of the front of the core. The front of the core is our parts, so it took a lot more R&D on this time around. We changed obviously the threading of the barrel, the length of the body, the height of the body. So all across the board, it's been way more. If you're just tuning in, 2200 for the quick ships. What is a quick ship? It is a solid or two-tone Asian anodized. You're looking at one. This is a quick ship. What is not a quick ship? It's a custom at 2450 starting. That is way more expensive to me. I actually make the same amount of money if you buy a 24 karat gold plated, if you buy a prism, if you buy a quick ship, I should be making more, right? As the retail goes up, you should be making a percentage more, but it's the same to me, no matter what you get. That's why I said, if you want to get a quick ship and redo it, I don't care. It's exact same profit to us. I have to pay a whole lot more for US anodizing. So that's why, for instance, the US anodizing are 2450. So 250 more. Most of the time I'm paying more than 250, so I actually lose money, I guess you could say. The 3Ds are 100 more. I was going to do 50, and we had a conference today, and because of the extra steps and doing this gun twice and the crazy machining, my prices went up. So the 3Ds only, the price went up on just those, which is, if you don't know what a 3D is, that's when it has dust and polish on the same gun. They basically anodize it twice. They'll anodize it and then prep it again and anodize it again to get a dual finish, like a Hellfire in our last one. And it can have, like the Hellfire was polished, dust, polished, with polish on top of the dust in the middle. So those are the most complicated ones we do, other than like the crazy kind of some of the stuff we do with, like, caustic and stuff, like a Thunderstruck or something like that. If you, hit me up tonight if you want to upgrade on an annual basis. I probably can do it. But send this doesn't count. Send an email tonight to sales or support at adrenaline.shop, and we'll see if we can hook you up. Matching regs being sold. Our intent always was to have a matching reg with this pattern, or we didn't really know which pattern we were going to do, if we do scales or skin. With Powerhouse pretty much being bought by Infamous, I'm going to talk to Travis and Vegas and see if he still wants to do it and work with us. So we'll probably do it. But I haven't decided what pattern yet. If he does want it to continue on, if if we use scales or skin. I'm up to, your guys' thoughts. We try to rotate a little bit. The scales are badass. It's a lot more machine time and CAD time, but and it will be difficult rotating the reg in if it doesn't line up perfectly because it's a two-piece design. So I don't know which one we'll use, but yeah, that's the plan. And we'll just be doing regular body, not long body, because if you're just tuned in, our reg is adjustable, our ASA is adjustable about 5/8 of an inch. So you can, if you want it to be longer, just slide it back 5/8 of an inch, and that's about what a long body is. So we'll probably just do one reg length. First group pre-orders probably be Sunday, if not Monday. I'm still adding some of the designs to the site and adding like, the certificates, each one certified and all that stuff. It's going pretty fast. So if I get it all done, but you'll get an email with like a 24-hour notice. I'm not gonna be like, hey, your window just started, act now. People don't check their email if they're work or whatever. So you get an email and it'll say, hey, your window's starting tomorrow at blank, and it'll run for 24 hours. If you're a pro and you miss your window will still be open for plus. So if you miss out, but you can't like buy again for plus. It's just if you miss it, you're just not going to close. Hope that makes sense. Skin on the reg, yeah, maybe it would be easier for sure if it doesn't line up, if that makes sense, because they're going to machine it, take it apart, anodize it, put it back together. I think if those scales don't line up, it'd look probably off more than the skin. So we'll see. If you are a Premiere Pro, you can get two customs. You can get two quick ships. You can get one quick ship and one custom. Any combination you want. It's up to you. If you're Premiere Pro only. Plus and regular, you just get one. Long bodies just from machining and milling design. Yeah, I mean that's possible. Problem is the inventory, right? So if we get them in, we don't know how many to get of each, and end up with extra long bodies usually. So we'll probably just do the standard body. And then you can use the ASA. Not every color, but a couple hundred. Everything we did on TM40 that we offered, everything we did on TM40 that we want to copy off people that they designed and we think it's awesome, and we're going to steal their idea and offer it to the next guy. Everything that was done on a shocker that we liked that was not done on a TM40. So like Apocalypse Now is a good example. That's already on our site. I like it. And no one did it on a Luxe, but I'm going to offer it again. Same thing, there's others. I don't know, Skittles, who knows, some other ones we did that no one did on a Luxe TM40, but we're going to see it as examples at least. We don't have a drop forward, but it slides forward, if that helps. It doesn't drop, but it is a 1/4 inch. It's already a 1/4 inch, like I said, taller to allow for the, basically the mechanics of the piece. Yes, this is true, but it does end up leaving a little crack. I found when we did the pyramid design. Sometimes if we move stuff around, it could end up leaving a crack. So we did face that problem last time. Luckily it turned out pretty good. No, Flaming Skull Premiere Pro is 3 guns. You would get, your prism and 2 of whatever else you want. You cannot get 2 prisms. Hope that makes sense. You get your 1 Flaming Skull. You get what you're eligible for separately without sacrifice. How about that? If you have an NFT and you subscribed, you get them. You earned them separate. You get them separate. If you're Flaming Skull and you subscribe, you earned them separate. You get them separate. Hope that makes sense. But yeah, so maybe we could come up with like a note to put in there, like, hey, congratulations on winning the 3rd one or something like that for your random drawing. Everybody is actually getting a letter that we're making to send out there. Everybody bought one, just thanking them and trust. There's a lot of pressure on these things for us. We've been working on for 3 years. A lot of pressure. Like I sold so many subscriptions and NFTs recently, and I hadn't shown anything or talked about anything. And it's just people know that we're going to do 25 different CAD revisions to try to get it right, and all this science and bullcrap that sounds like smoke and mirrors. But if you think that, then you apparently never hose your driveway off. So we put a lot of effort into it to not let people down. And we like it. It's an ego thing, right? I mean, when we came out with our LED, no one on planet Earth thought it wasn't the best gun on planet Earth. They were crazy if they didn't, at least until Cobra came out with theirs. And we had a really good rivalry with them for, a couple of generations, but I think we still had the best gun on Earth. And so we won back-to-back world championships, with different teams swapping our guns in and out. So we want to make sure we have that. So we spent a lot of time on R&D and a lot of time on the insides and the workings, and because that trust is kind of why we upgraded the unboxing experience and the packaging and that stuff. Because some people told me again, hey, this is my first Adrenal I've ever owned. I've always wanted one since the LCD. Could never afford it as a kid, but now I'm going to get my first one. It may be my only one. So I thought, man, they should make this special. I've got people, like Gary here. He's had a lot of our guns. Well, there maybe this kid is, or he's not a kid now, right? The guy that emailed me, grown up, but it may be his only one he's ever owned. So I want his to be, a cool experience. So we already had our price set when we spent all this money on packaging and boxing. We're not like raising our price or anything. We're just eating it just to try to make it a, better experience. Um, sorry, I think I took the Apocalypse Now shocker off because it was, out of stock. But when the idols go live, and it'll be live for the public, you just won't be able to buy. I think that's the case. It may be in a locked part of the site. It's just however it worked whenever we did the locks test recently. I can't remember how that went. But if it is available to see for the public, you'll be able to check it out then. If not, it's one of the few ones that's not on the site because I did take it off because it's one of the few ones that wasn't made in a TM40. Just go to the Adrenaline Facebook group and just the page, our Facebook page, and go to search this page and type in Apocalypse, and you'll see it pop right up. Or if you're on the Shocker Owners group, it'll definitely show up there too. Appreciate you. And last time it was Anthony, I think, that got a gun to Brad at Paintball Room My Life for review, and I appreciate that. And this time, Brad's going to get his own, and he actually owned. He owned an Adrenaline LCD Angel way back in the day and a Lifesaver Fade, and I think we're going to do one of those for him. So he'll have his an independent review. Now he's not the type to tear into Bernoulli's principles and stuff, but he'll tell you how it feels in his hands, and that's really what matters, right? How it feels and the kick and that kind of stuff. You can request, but just shoot. You can either message us. So we'll be on Facebook. We'll be, monitoring the emails like, hey, who does this or that? We could tell you. I know. Usually the fades are often done by Blizzard because I like his fades a lot. They're really smooth and I like it. A lot of the 3D stuff is done by Outlaw. Like the Hellfire and things like that, and the Grizzly stuff like that. In any event, yeah, I know Rob was on here earlier. He posted. I didn't put his message up, but I know he appreciates that. So for all you're still here, Rob. But the problem we had last time with throughput, we've worked on a lot of things. So I'll just tell you, like, the number one delay in anodizing custom guns, and it is a long process, is the polishing. And especially this is way worse than our pyramid design. Yeah, and so for 3D, Outlaws where we usually do almost all our 3D stuff. But in any event, we are going to pay, and it's a significant amount, this huge polishing firm that has over 100 employees that all they do is polish all day, every day, and they do like stuff for NASA and GM and crap like that, and send them all that are going to be anodized and polish, and they're going to polish our bodies, and we get them back fully done. So that's going to really help dramatically over the TM40, the throughput for someone like Blizzard that can only polish 5 guns a day. If I send him guns fully polished, it just changes it dramatically. Same thing for wherever they go, whether it's Outlaw. Now, Caustic is crazy about his polishing. He's OCD about it. I may just let him polish his own. But he did say, send them to me fully polished, and I'll touch them up if I need. So we'll probably do the same thing, and it'll still improve his output as well. So that's going to really help the timeline. Some of you guys have been with us for a few generations, or some of you guys have had every Adrenaline. That's going to be one of the things that's really going to speed up the process. Is the prep time? Is we're having this professional polishing company basically polish all our bodies at a very expensive amount, but it's just, it is what it is, and it speeds it up because I know the timeline is important for everybody. And so this is important. Like, so if you're if you caught one at the public release and you're number 297 or 308 or whatever, and you're going in order, it's not going to be 6 weeks. I mean, I could do one in 6 weeks, easy, right? But not 6 weeks if you're number 308 because he's got 307 guns in front of you. And that's why I was saying if timing is super important, you may want to get a quick ship and send it off to where you're number one on your own list, or send it to somewhere else. But Sorry, I was reading some messages here. Uh, well, this it's an artistic thing, right? Like we had done some stuff with more like we could have actually had, you know, it would be very hard to wrap the front of these around, so everything we make is based on art, not cost so much. But it's for artistic reasons and also for simplicity. So it'd be very hard in the front. So then okay, we're going to put dragon skin on the front. Well, then let's put dragon skin here because you can't. What are you going to have, like one scale here? So that makes sense there. The back strap, what are you going to have, like a half a scale? So put that there. And so then we decided, and this was actually the CAD person who's an actual artist too, said that we think you should probably use the skin on the front because they wouldn't line up. It would have to have like a huge round area here because they would never line up, and it'd be like start, stop, start. If that makes any sense. So we think this kind of makes more sense. And dragons aren't full scale, just like that cup I showed. So they got skin, they got scale. So in any event, that's kind of how we came across with that, whether right decision or not. And I don't think he's hating. Jay's not hating. He's just asking. That's the artistic design behind it because it wouldn't flow well, is what we thought. The first ones you probably see, we may get like a couple done early, but basically when we get our fully complete raw bodies in, right after that, and because we don't have every part in now, right? So we have every full set. By that time, we'll be getting the quick ships. So the guns being machined in Asia. It used to be done in. I used to machine our LCDs and LEDs. We had a Cincinnati Millicron. I hit play. Then we machined our impulses in Latrobe at the old Smart Parts. Now everybody does it overseas, and across the street is like the anodizer. So basically they're going to come in quick ships almost right after, just like the TM40s, basically right after we're getting raw bodies. But then we're taking our raw bodies, we're divvying them up. Some are going to plating, some are going to Outlaw, some are going to Caustic, some are going to Blizzard, and that is a pain in the ass. I've got to put everybody's order and put them in order, and describe it, especially people that send like 22 pictures, which I'm not saying don't do that. Do that. If you have your design in your mind, we'll try to bring it to life. But I have to represent that. Like, hey, the 12th gun you make, he wants this, 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 and this. Some people just say artistic choice, do whatever you want. And some people send me literally like, pictures of a car or whatever and say, mimic this. We did the McLaren, $1 million McLaren remake on our shocker. So in any event, it just depends on, what you ask for. First ones will be the Grizzlies. Yeah, basically, again, so it depends on who orders and what, and like, so the single digit guys are going very first. And so I know Patrick posted here earlier, he's got serial number 1 on the shocker, serial number 1 on the TM40, and he's got serial number 1 on the Idol. The difference was we kind of just sent them off, and people would say like, hey, I'm going to run the Grizzlies today. I'm just going to run them all. And now we're at least going to try to keep them in order within reason. If there's a 7 and a 9 Grizzly, we're not going to do 7, then do 8 and do 9. He'll do 7 and 9 together, right? It makes sense, to do them at the same time. But in any event, we're going to try to do as much in order as basically how the orders were placed, except for those single digit. So sorry to hear that your adoption's going crappy. So if you want to trade your kid for a Prism, and Patrick has every Prism, he has the shocker and the TM40. Sorry to hear that. But in any event, we love you and we'll adopt you. We've had lots of different looks. We did some marbles. We did a black marble on our shocker, and no one requested the marble on the Luxe. But we did do a black marble, which was one of the most OG marbles we ever did on our Angels. So uh, if you could think of it, we could probably do it. And so far, there's the only one we didn't know if we could do was the Thunderstruck, and I think Caustic killed that on our shockers. It looks so realistic compared to the old school Thunderstruck. Um, and it was expensive. So if someone, I probably won't put that on the site. If someone wants that, you probably talk to Steven at Caustic and maybe I'll get a quote and we'll talk about it. And sometimes it goes like that, right? Like you do a custom anodizing, it's going to have a price. Like it's going to say 3D or gloss or dust, and then you describe it, and it's going to have a checkout price. But that's subject to change. Like if you say you want every scale tip uh, uh, brushed with, like, let's say you want it dust black, and every scale tip you want it in polished red. Is that possible? Yeah, I think it is possible. You could do every tip. Is it going to be super crazy, uh, super fragilistic, expensive? Yeah, probably, because that's taken hand. And if they mess up, they have to start over. You know what I mean? So crazy amount of effort on that, but it's possible. But if you request something like that, you're going to get an email from me like, "Hey, Bill, I appreciate your order. If you want to go forward with this, it's going to be another $900 or whatever after I get a quote." Or you can choose another pattern. So if it's something radical like that, that's happened before. Um, so, uh, okay. Sorry I missed you. There's like literally a trillion questions. What's your questions? Just post them again. I'm sorry. Uh, uh, yeah, that would look good, dude. The tips again, though, like that's going to take either, it's going to take brushing, right? And it's going to be expensive, but it's possible, I just don't know the quote, but the time involved, it's gonna run it up big time. But that type of thing would be like, hey, are you getting a communication back from me? And we'd have to work it out. But we are excited. If you live in the UK, I know that Nick Truder is getting a few in. Um, and so reach out to him if you want to try to coordinate that a little bit. I have some people in some other countries that it's difficult to ship to, and we've worked out with people to ship to other countries without getting people in trouble. But so anyway, if you're, we have subscribers in countries that can get T-shirts but can't get paintball guns. So we're looking out for you. We've got stuff. We've communicated with most of these people. Like for instance, you can't ship a paintball gun to Belgium, for instance. I don't know why, but most of the people we've communicated with, and we think we've got solutions, and we're going to try to help you out the best we can. The mech frame would fit, and our trigger is fully enclosed within the mech frame. I don't know if we're going to do it. It's not on the current machine list, so it'd be later. We have stuff being made, right? Like extra bolt sets. We have extra ASAs being made. The mech frames are not being made at this time because it's expensive item. And what if people don't it's not dramatically bigger trigger than the stock. It's bigger, but like I said, ours won't even fit in the stock. But some people really like the timer, but it's just an expensive item for me to stock. And last time, they sold out, but it just took longer. So we're hesitant to make 500 mech frames, if that makes sense. You can't make, gone are the days where you can make like 20 pieces. You know what I mean? So when you're dealing with Asia, you got to make like a crap load of stuff. I pay Garmin timers like $75, $80 on Amazon. I pay like $50 almost for that timer. So for me to stock 500 mech frames is $25,000 in Garmin timers, if that makes any sense. So, which we did last time, and they sold out. And we made profit on it, but it's just something we haven't decided. I don't think we're going to do. But I appreciate it. Thank you for the praise. We spent obviously a stupid amount of time on this, and not just us. We couldn't do it without the CAD folks, the machining folks, and honestly, we had a lot of help with people at DLX and some of these concepts. Like, if I say, "Hey, I want to take your body and do cocker threads," it's not like an easy concept because you're stretching out everything. So it's been critical. We appreciate them, and it's been a great relationship working with them. Um, since we've switched from back in the Angel days. And one reason we haven't worked with anyone else is we just have such a great relationship where, I'm getting, a CAD done of something. If I'm like, hey, what would this happen? We did this, and, they're helping out, and it's beneficial, right? And some of our stuff, they end up getting benefit from, and like our XLS had the twist cap, locking system, and then on the amp, that's what they had. We learned a lot on ours. Ours wasn't as good as that one, so by the time the amp came out, it was better. So it's beneficial, I think, for both of us. No, I don't think you could. Our mech trigger does not look like on the back end. It would not activate, you know, the solenoid and the board and all that. So no, unfortunately, no, that's not it. That's funny. Yeah, my Garmin rep loves. So I have a Garmin rep because we're a Garmin dealer. Like, I don't hit me up for like their GPSs for boats and all that stuff or car crap, but I can get anything. We're a dealer, and our rep loves our drops. Because I'll take 1,000 timers. Um, so yeah, that's funny you said that. Um, but yeah, it's the same timer. It's a VivoFit 4. They're going to eventually have a VivoFit 5, but it's not in development yet. And honestly, I hope it doesn't lose the button because then it will lose our features. And then we'll have to design our own timer. And we could, right? But it's a great one. It works perfect and it fits perfect. So why not? Um, as of right now, the voice pack is the same. We do have our own software, with the boot up board, as you can see on the screen. Um, but last time I had the worst problem trying to get people to do voice packs. It's actually a pain. There's like you have to say like 200 words, and you can't just say it in your phone. You got to have a PC with a microphone and all that stuff. And so it sounded great when we started to implement it. It just it was a lot harder to implement than we thought. And then you got to turn around and upload it back to the gun. So it's currently no plans to do that. I'd rather try to do a custom boot screen with a Bear Grizzly than trying to do Chris's voice. That's how much of a pain it is trying to get all that together. But as of now, we're not doing custom boot screens for Signature Series or anything like that. So don't get any ideas, Chris. Um, I think that's any more questions. We're still waiting on a couple parts. You know, um, the mech frames have been done for a long time, and the triggers. I showed you the trigger. If you're new to show, like this trigger, this picture of this trigger is like a year old. Maybe not, but right when they came out with the Era mech frame, but before you even knew probably what the Era was, um, we had the triggers. Uh, so this is our mech trigger in a Shocker Era mech frame, just to show the size discrepancy. Um, but some of the parts we've had, and some of the parts we're waiting on. So, but it's not like a fall of 2024 crap thing. It's we're checking in on a daily. I asked them today how things are looking and stuff like that. So, um, but and the quick ships will come in roughly shortly after the finished parts, because once the last parts are done, they're going to send them off, and those guys do that stuff fast. Um, but yeah, good question. Uh, Yes, on this. We're full custom. So we've done so on the I did people that did all kinds of crazy different barrel sets. Uh, what's Simon's barrel system? I can't think what it's called. I did probably 3 or 4 shockers and luxes with that barrel system. I did some deadly wind barrels. I did all you get parabolics. I did the most parabolics I'd say on the luxes. But you get stuff, and I'm not a dealer for this stuff. So you get it, ship it to me, and we'll have it stripped and done with your gun. So yeah, it's a good question. Yeah, we're full custom. So I mean, you could send in a piece of aluminum and say, hey, it goes to my car. I want it to match my gun. We'll do it. It's just going to maybe cost something. And that's fair, right? Like if I send in a 6-piece parabolic set, a Stella, thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah. So let's say that. So a Stella, I think that one of the guys sent in like, I don't know, 5 or 6 Stella pieces. Well, that may cost me an extra $80 or something. So then you got to pay that too. But yeah, we'll do it. I mean, um, so you get the parts, send them to me. Some of this stuff, like Inception, same thing. But like Infamous, I got some of his stuff last time. We're dealers through Infamous, so I got some of his triggers and some stuff last time. If you don't like the Deuce trigger, but the best thing is usually just for you to get it and send it in. So this is mostly done at DLX, because they actually test each gun, and then we actually test them. So they go to DLX. We do the final stuff here. Like these cases are here. The mech cases are here. The grips for the mech are here. I'm making that. So basically, they get I call it sub assembly, but I mean it's a functioning gun. They ship it to us. We put all the finishing touches, make it look pretty, laser it, test it again, air it up, make sure it doesn't leak and stuff, and then package it up and make it look all pretty. So good question. Um, yes, both mech frames. So both mech frames will match and ASA. So both frames have a matching ASA and so you and really the slide rail is what we're calling it, but it's really an integral part of the ASA. Like again, you can't use them separate. But so you can't put a you could take both of our parts off though and put a stock idle ASA on our gun. If that makes any sense. Sorry if I missed your DM. It's just been nuts, as you can imagine, getting this stuff ready the last few days. But we'll be down through them in the next couple days to make sure I'm not missing things like, hey, can I subscribe tonight or whatever? So we're going to be diving in. So someone will get back to you. I had a little conference call with John, one of our volunteers that helps out on Facebook, went over some answers and questions that people are going to ask and stuff like that. So he's somewhat prepped to help out and go through these too. And then pre-order is different for everyone. What's up, Chris? I saw that you're with the was it Houston Roughnecks now. So congratulations, getting back on the field. We'll be watching. The answer is probably late next week. So we have subscribers that get like early access, and then they'll be going to the public once all those guys gonna go through. So and I'll hook you up. I hate the Browns, so I didn't like it when you were with the Browns, but now that you're not with the Browns anymore, we'll make sure we'll try to get you one. Because I'm in Southern Ohio, which is Bengals territory. Thunderstruck, that's something you'd have to check with Caustic on. It was astronomical last time, and he may not even want to do it. So it was like, hey, I don't want to do these ever again because he has to do them by hand. So anyway, it's something you'd have to confirm with Caustic they would do it. Have him give me a quote, and then I'll come back and give you a quote. And I'm just kidding, by the way. We don't hate the Browns. We do hate the Steelers. And yes, it is going to look great in Prism. This design with this relief, the in and outs, that's really going to look good, I think, in a high gloss plate. And the rose gold as well, and the rhodium. It's just like a picture of dust black. A lot of these relief factors are probably not going to be as visible, but when you start getting high gloss reflective finishes, I think it's really going to pop. All right. Well, so we've gone on just about 2 hours. We're at 1 hour and 55 minutes, and I wanted to do a 2-hour show. If anybody has more questions, get them in now. I appreciate you guys having the confidence and faith in us, and the people that have subscribed and been subscribers since August. We're looking out for you. If, like I said, if it goes to where we're not going to have enough for the public, you guys are going first. But yeah, just Chris, just shoot me a DM and we'll make sure that we try to get you one set aside. But yeah, just you're my friend on Facebook. Just shoot me a message. It's James. And yeah, good luck this season. Hope have an injury-free season. Anyone else? And man, dude, I can't wait. So our team design is actually changing this year. We are doing some different signature series ones. We're not doing as many athletes as we did in the past because we're not doing like the athlete program. We're doing stuff with Chris, honestly, just because he's been great to work with for years. When we first came back, before we were even doing guns, we worked with him with Under, and we love the vets and supporting veteran militia, which he's the spearhead of that program. So we're going to keep working with him, and then Nikki T, obviously, for UK, because he's helping coordinate shipments and customs and some of that stuff. And so we're excited to be working with him. But it got a lot of the guys on the teams are doing some new ones, like John Kurzawa, who used to play for Seattle Thunder, and Revo, and some of those guys that used to call him Captain America. I think he's going to do like a red, white, and blue Captain America theme, kind of thing. But a lot of the guys on the team, we're letting them kind of design some of our own designs. We may not even have like a team design this year. So I'm excited to get mine. I'm doing Baba Yaga again. It's kind of like my thing, which is a caustic pattern. And it'll be for sale as well, just like in the past. So it'll be a few bucks more because Caustic has to do it, because that gun smoke is surprisingly crazy complicated. No one's really been able to replicate it And I've seen attempts, and it just doesn't quite look like Stevens does. So we'll be sticking with him on that. Same thing for like a Thanos, which is a badass design. He'll be doing those and stuff like that. But all your patterns, like you come up with the design and shoot us a message. We'll try to tell you if it's like too complicated or something like that. But on the custom checkout order form, it'll say describe your design, upload your inspiration images or example images, and you can send me a picture of a cocker that was made in 2004 if you want, and then I'll send that along and say, hey, this gun 202, here's a cocker, use this for reference. It's a pain, but they're used to it and we're used to it. So if I have questions, we'll hit you up. It'll also have blanks for serial numbers, like, hey, because some of our guys are eligible for requesting serial numbers, but everybody's going to want like, some of the same ones, 69 or whatever. So then there'll be like multiple blanks. Hey, what's your second choice, third choice? And that's a pain in the ass because I got to go through and say, this guy wants it, this guy wants it, who has the most seniority, and then go through from there. And so that takes literally days to do, but some people, it's important for them to get maybe the serial number that matches their shocker and their Luxe TM40 or whatever. So, part of being full custom is we try to not say no too often. So anyway, it is what it is. Yeah, I mean, I love the Baba Yaga. When I did mine, I picked my pattern first, and that was my favorite. And I was like, I'm taking this. It's the privilege of being the president, right? So I'm excited, and it'll look awesome on this pattern, and I'm excited to get my own in. And then that's my serial number is 10. And I take the first one that is not sold to the public, so that one's gone. If you're wanting to ask for it, too bad. Yes, if you have store credit, like from an Adrenaline gift card, there's an option when you check out. It'll say enter your code, and you enter your code, and it'll apply it right there take it off the order total. Good question. Because some people got Adrenaline gift cards for Christmas and stuff like that, or whatever. So yes, you'll be able to use those at checkout. And then also it can double up like credits and coupons and stuff like that. So if you check out and you want the SAS set, I know on checkout there's a coupon to get that at a deep discount. A firm we never use, we use Klarna. That's how we always use. So you're probably thinking of Klarna, but yes, we still have Klarna. We still have PayPal, and I think they've built into their PayPal Pay Later or whatever. So yes, we still have the Klarna system in place, and it's still fully functional, and it tells you your payments and all that stuff. It must be what you're thinking of. So what's going to happen is, and I'm over 2 hours now in about 12 seconds, is tomorrow, like I said, I got basketball practice, going to come back and tally the lists. Who is, somebody actually made Flaming Skull last week. He was so close, and he just bought some crap. And I was like, who's bought all these reg thread protectors and stuff? And he pushed himself over. So I've got to update the list, make sure I've got everybody in the right category, and then build the email up. And then you'll say, hey, you got 24 hours from now till it starts. Then you'll order, and then the next group will start, and then the next group will start. And then there'll probably be a day of dead time where I got to figure out how many we have left and what's left. And, I want to make sure Brad gets one who's not a subscriber, but I want him to do a review. So he's going to pay for it, but I got to get him one. I got, to take off the ones that are going to Lone Wolf and Maze and stuff like that. A couple of ones that are going to Europe, and see what I've got left. And then I'll set those up, and there'll be a countdown timer. Like, hey, tomorrow at 7 p.m. it's going live. It'll just be like, buying from Adidas or anything like that. 2,200 for quick ship, essentially 21,999. I'm going to round these up. 2,250 for most customs in dust or polish in the U.S. anodized. 2,550 for 3D. So it's $100 extra, and that's basically if it's anodized twice, dual finish. So like an Apocalypse, or not Apocalypse now, a Hellfire, where it goes like polish, dust, polish with polish on top of the dust. That's doing it multiple times. That's an add-on. Caustic, his has got a price point on there, but it's not like a guarantee. So like Thanos, I know that price is right, Baba Yaga. But if it's something like Kraken that he's done that I've never done, and he hits me up and says, hey, Kraken's an $800 pattern, well, I'm not saying it is, but if he does, I'm going to hit you up. but for the most part, it should cover most of his anodizing patterns. And then there's the pricing for Flaming Skull and Elite, and I think those guys already know kind of what those are. Yes, pre-order emails. Thanks, Brock. And I don't know if you were here for the mech trigger. I know you play similar position as I do. You're going to like the mech frame a lot. It's quite fast. Um, Yes, for pre-order, you will get emails. I've tested it out recently. Posting, okay, I just sent the first batch of test emails. I sent the second batch. I had a couple people say I didn't get it, and I think we fixed it. Someone have one guy that's got spam kicking on, that's preventing it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to post also on Facebook, on the main page, and also in the Drone Lux owners group. If you're not an owner, you won't be in there, but the other guys will. But I'll be on the main thing too, and say, hey, I just sent out Premiere Pro emails. I just sent out NFT emails. I just sent out Elite and Flaming Skull emails, whatever. And so you can be on the lookout. And if you don't get it, if you're one of those people and you don't get that email and you see that post, do not miss out. Contact us immediately. We'll be looking for those messages and make sure you get, the secret code to get in the. You got to knock twice and present like a half dozen eggs that are boiled, and then you can get through the secret door to get in and buy. But yes, emails are set to one every tier and different levels, and we tested that and it worked really well. And then we did the Flaming Skull and Elite, and that worked well too. So I think we've got that kind of all worked out. And Brock, yes, he does get the retiree discount that they have at Wendy's. We are offering Scarlet and Gray High State, go Bucks. It's an option. In fact, we did one before, and somebody put the Buckeyes, the Leafs on it. So it's an option. You got to get in there and get it. Yes, one day. Premiere Plus is 1 day before regular Premiere. So Premiere Pro, 24-hour window. Premiere Plus, 24-hour window. Premiere, 24-hour window. All those guys have enough guns to satisfy all those guys. I've heard my phone go off. If it's not, if you were a subscriber before today, guarantee. But I think I still have enough for all those guys to get guns. So it's not going to be like some crazy rush. So when you're 24-hour window, don't think you got to rush by and check out. You have all day. You take your time. Look at all the patterns. Take your time. And now we don't talk about Maize and Blue. Thanks for about. Really, if you do the like I said, the CAD time, the machine time on this, on our Angels, we did the very first ever, taking a bit and going like this. And I'm not saying that's easy. It's not, it's way beyond like the standard stock stuff. But this, if you can picture like what, as the machine is working its way through this, what else going on in and out, and the surfaces are curved, like you can't really tell it, but in some of the other images, you can see that these, there's a slight curvature in each of these scales. So it's not like a flat scale. So they're actually curved on each one, plus the edge, plus the relief. It's a serious undertaking, and we're proud of it. I'll be honest. We worked on it. We worked on it for a long time, so we should be. Thanks, Lamar. Appreciate it. I do not know the exact runtime because some the things are like they do. The barrels are done differently. So I don't know like a grand total. Usually they don't tell me that. They usually just say it's like X dollars. Who knows? They could be lying, but I know enough. Like I said, I actually machined the Angels on a 4-axis Cincinnati Millicron, and I hit play and I destroyed a body once. It went right through it. I'll never forget, because WDP didn't view a body as a like $100 part. They viewed it as $1,000 part. They like the whole gun. They would charge us $1,000. So that was a big mistake. But I'm not a machinist, but I guess I pretended to be one for a few years. I can tell you this is a complicated design, and even the barrel, all of it. So we're excited. Yeah, I mean, if you add the mech frame in, so if you add just this mech frame, the stock mech frame is going to be a couple hundred. So that's a $2,000 item. Our mech frame, like I told you, I pay $50 to Garmin for an $80 Garmin timer, whether you want it in there or not. It's in ours. So that's, if we sold a mech frame, it would be at least 250. But with our trigger, where we put a lot of R&D in, and we're proud about it, probably a little bit more. Um, so, and then you're getting the bolt kit, which is going to be an expensive item because I've got 4 parts. I got to sell. Last time, I mean, people are paying, and don't wait, right? When we come out with the bolt kits, it's going to be limited. I had somebody sign up for, on our website, you have like a notify me when available. Someone freaking signed up for an F-16 bolt kit, notify me when available today. I saw it pop up. Like, I'm not trying to bash you if it was you on this. I announced we sold out of those over a year ago, and people are still signed up for that because people are charging like $200 for them. But I sold them for 100. When these come out, it's going to be limited again. So, if you're getting a stock when you're planning on getting the kit, get it early. But it's going to have 4 parts, so it's not going to be 100 anymore because I got to have the bolt guide and the bolt guide extension. So it's probably going to be a little bit more. But you know, we'll be offering that stuff kind of right around the same time. So, but yeah. So my point is, you get the adrenaline frame with the mech trigger, with the timer, and all our parts, plus a crazy amount of just the machine. If you just value the machine time on a cost factor, we're proud of the price, and we think it's a solid deal. So he has some brand new F-16s. There you go. I sold them for $999. I'm sure he'll honor that. Just kidding. But anyway, I think, and when the SAS kits run out, and we're getting lower, and maybe these guns will probably run them out. It'll be the same way once the word gets out. I've had the guys that have used them. Some of those guys I haven't seen them tonight, but a couple of them using them on their Planet guns that they just swear by them. Especially, like I said, like 6, 7, 8 insert almost all day, every day. So that'll take off once people get this 686 insert in and get to play with it. But it doesn't work good if it's like overboard because it's so slick. I found that like if it's 6.8 4 paint, our 686 insert may do worse than a stock 686, if that makes any sense. It's at least about the same because it's so slick and you're not getting any bite whatsoever. That if it's too big, it doesn't work well. It works way better if it's underboard, if that makes any sense. But so anyway, get the whole set and you'll be set. So anyway, I expect the quick ships to begin soon. And when we start shipping those, we'll be shipping bodies out at that time, or probably just right before. There may be a couple individual guns that we get in, like for reviews and stuff like that, and just to show off, like a couple separate ones. But usually we get them in like, bam, hundreds in groups. So, and we send those right out. But it's still going to take a long time. Like if I send 200 guns to Outlaw, for instance, he could do the first few right away, but gun 194 is going to be a significant amount of time. So, I think people you have to understand that. So if you don't, if you're not in early and you can't wait, then, go for a quick ship. And it sucks to wait, but like, but after we sold out last TM40, our guns were going for 3,500, and I'm selling them for 2,200, so like, yeah, I'm sorry you had to wait a year, but you made, good return on your money, so, and these will be, I think, because of the only cocker threaded Luxes on Earth and all the other stuff going on, especially the Bernoulli system. And once people really start seeing the test results and people start doing Facebook reviews and stuff like that of velocity changes and stuff like that, the price will be pretty solid, I think. Okay, so slight overboard. You've been good with it, the paint, but yeah, for probably trash paint though, you're getting like some irregular shaped, and it's like getting some bite probably. I've just when I was doing it, some real good like 5-star, it was not good. It was about like stock. It just wasn't like the same improvement that I saw. So, and it makes sense. It's not getting any bite, on the ball. So I haven't really thought about doing any other. The inserts are horrible to do. I do 7 hours for 35 inserts. So that's 4 sets in 7 hours. So it's a real pain. And I'm kind of like pot committed now, you could say, because, we bought all the stuff to do it and we ran it. And will we do it again? I don't know. It's a super amount of work. And now I have to do 600 686s, which I've already started on. But I mean, I can do 35 in 7 hours, and I have to do 600 686s. So Um, it's very difficult, but it's a Teflon coated barrel system. So use it or just talk to some of the people that use it, and you'll see why we're doing it. We're never going back, at least for the stock insert. Um, but just because of the performance. Um, all right. So, and like I said, soon I'm going to have Hans on. If you guys don't know Hans Simmelsberger, he's the main dude that pretty much invents almost everything with the Lux and the Shocker. I mean, he's not the only guy there, right? I mean, Ryan Moorhead is super involved now. And if you ask me how many pros understand the cores and pneumatics and all this stuff, it's like 10%. No offense. Ryan really does. He really understands this stuff, and I think his involvement with the stock idle has really helped, and he's been a big help bouncing stuff off of him on our gun. Some of our ideas, and we called the F16 bolt the F16 because it was the 16th formula, and that's the same way. It's not like we designed one with physics and said this has got to be it. We've been messing with it and trying to tweak stuff, and it's been harder this time because when you tweak the bolt, you also have the bolt guide which channels air, so it's three-way system now with these three parts that all interact. So you can change the bolt and not change the bolt guide, get one thing, then you change the bolt guide, and not the bolt. So it's been a very difficult system pneumatically to get right where we want it. But again, he has a great understanding of how all that works, and he's been a benefit for us and for DLX. But I'll have Hans on, who's the main cat there. Pretty soon we'll do a show that if you really want to dive in, and it's a big rare chance to ask, pretty much the guy that's going to design, the next shock or next Lux questions. So we'll be on at the same time and talk shop if you're really like a gun tweaker. Be a good little show, I think. If you're not into that, it's going to be boring as hell, so don't watch. Yeah, that's where I stole this from, right? WD-40. It's exactly, and then Formula 409. So, which is even better, right? They took 408 formulas. If you know the fantastic type knockoff spray, Formula 409, the 409th formula they got right. That sounds crazy to me. I mean, it's cleaner, right? But anyway, yeah, that's so. This would have been like because of all the intricacies of changing the bolt guide, the bolt, the bolt guide extension, all of it has been super difficult compared to the last one. But it's the first. It's the first Bernoulli system, and again, people say, "Oh, I don't." That's all smoke and mirrors, whatever. If you say that, then you just don't understand what we're doing. Like I said, go out and hose your damn driveway off and cut the end off your garden hose and spend 2 hours doing it, and then come back and talk to me. But if you don't mess with all that science, just know that we did it and we did it for you, and we're proud of what we did, and it's been tested, and this is the version we think is what's right. So, by the way, yes, I'm going to go back to this message. So we are not playing in Vegas, but I'm going out Saturday, and then I'll be at the Luxe booth at the event on Sunday, and then I'll be at the Paintball Summit. I'll be at the awards party Sunday night, and then the summit on Monday and Tuesday, and flying out Wednesday. So if you're seeing this and you're a dealer, I'll be at the Luxe booth at the summit, and maybe some of the tech classes. I know like tech, but I'll probably just be manning the booth while the other guys are in the tech classes. And then I'll be at the booth on Sunday. I don't think I'll have anything to show there because it's just dude, that's this weekend. No, I will not have anything to show this weekend coming up after tomorrow, that is. But yeah, I'll be there Sunday, and then I'll be at the summit as well. And then we'll be at, like I said, the awards party. But anyway, favorite part about this design, so we start with like, I wish I had the other piece, but like I still have a plant here in my house, and I told my wife, like we could probably sell that plant, but it's the vase that we designed our TM40 around with the tri-mid design, and we took two pieces. We had like this, it looks almost like a gauntlet, but it's a round piece that has dragon scale. I'll find it and show it sometime, and then that cup, and to take that and just like, the first drawings, like if I could show you. I don't want to show you because I may bring it up on the wrong screen. Let me just take this off, and I'll try to show you like how bad the first. I'm not trying to be mean, but like the first attempts, it's just amazing. Like the amount of efforts. You don't realize how many times, basically representing you guys, that we go back and say, no, change this, and this one. A lot of people just say looks great, run it. Um, so like, uh, I mean, these are from last year. Some of these, I know. I'm sorry, February of last year. So you can see we've been working on this stuff for a long, long time. Here's one that, like, you know, um, it's crazy the amount of like back and forth it takes. Uh, so like, is this what we want first? No, no, this is like not not where we're at, but like we take stuff like this and then we just keep tweaking it and tweaking it. This is actually one of the inspiration pieces we sent that made it into, like, one of the designs of how they took a 3D effect and made it into, and that's another one's a little wilder. But you can see, like, we take these and basically keep tweaking, going back and forth until we get one. It's like, oh man, that's perfect. And we're a pain in the ass, a major, major pain in the ass to the design teams because we don't accept, the first 20 versions. But in the end, I think it's worth it, and it's rewarding to them too when they finally get through it, at least. Um, uh, Stealing fans design. I don't know what you're talking about, but you know, with the concept of us ever stealing from anyone's design is crazy. Yeah, so this gun looks like somebody else's design. So everybody basically copies off us, and not everybody, but we've never copied off anyone. If I thought it looked like someone, I would change it. But I don't think anyone's ever made a dragon like this before. If they have, then props to them. But I know they haven't, because the amount of effort that went into it. I don't think anyone messed with that kind of stuff, which makes it like, it's kind of like copy proof, because if someone goes to try to do something like this, they're going to find out that it's a stupid amount of machine time, and for a low number of guns, it's just not one. It's just not going to do it. Okay, yeah, yeah, we copied. I don't know who you're talking about, but yeah, okay. Anyway, um, yes, I think we'll probably do a tech mat with the new parts with the explosion. Dude, I'm about to lose my green screen here. Um, we probably will do one, but that takes a little while to develop because that's like one of those things I got it made in China and all that stuff. But so it won't be ready to order. Um, it won't be ready to order early on, but it'll be available probably down the road. So I got to make it, because we actually don't have explosions of our parts. So because I want it to be of our parts, so I got to have all the CADs built of. I mean, I have some of them, right? Like, but like just having our bolt, like this. I can't do it just like this and throw them all together. I got to build it on explosion like you've seen in the prior tech mat. So that takes some time, but we'll end up doing that. Because it is different, right? And all the O-rings are, I know some people use those for the O-ring sizes, and a lot of those are different, for like 17, 16 or whatever. I use it all the time, actually. So it's very useful if are into that kind of thing. All right, well, we've been going, I said 2 hours, now it's 2:20. So I'm going to dip. If anybody has any other questions, just shoot us an email or a message. We'll be monitoring those, not tonight, but tomorrow after basketball, we'll be diving in. And then I'm going to start making the list. If you want to try to be sure to 100% get one, you could subscribe tonight, or get an NFT tonight. But after tomorrow, about 2 o'clock, it'll be too late. Don't do it then, because I'm making the list. And I'm not going to go back and change it every day on time. So anyway, if you'd like to wait, you'll be able to, hopefully have. There'll be some, I think, I'm estimating, or maybe around 100, but it's hard to tell. It's hard to tell. On probably late next week for the public. Um, so anyway, I appreciate it. We worked super hard on it. Even like little things, like I said, I probably worked 3 days on the stupid zippers, which sounds, over the last 3 years, I got time to kill, right? I've got 2 weeks while I'm waiting on CAD to come back. So I'm like, I'll work on a box and box wrapping and a zipper and stupid stuff. But it ends up making a cool overall experience, which is something we've been wanting to try to present to, especially some of our new buyers. Um, all right. Well, listen, I will have another show coming up soon with Hans. And we'll have a pretty good show with a go over all of the the intricacies of like the mechanical element and pneumatics and stuff like that. It's not going to be as exciting if you're not into that stuff, but if you are, then definitely tune in. It's going to be a good experience to have a couple gun designers on the show and ask questions and you could say a wish list. So like we designed stuff again. We had our meeting November of 21. So people were like, "Oh, do this now, like do this kind of trigger or whatever." Well, actually, now is the time to make a wish list for like the next gun, not like you know November of 23. So it takes a long time to do that stuff. So, and every time I think, man, we're not gonna do anything better. Like, how can we improve on it? But then you come up with stuff. So I don't know. Right now, we're pretty maxed out. And again, we've been holding this bolt design since the LCDs, but hopefully we'll come up with some cool stuff for whatever's down the road. But for now, we've kind of like dumped it all out. Everything we had and we're holding back, it's all in this one. So it's we're pocket bid on this sucker. Anyway, so I hope you like it. It's been a big development for us and painful one, but exciting all along. And I'm excited to finally be able to talk about it. It sucks trying to keep secrets for that long. So we were going to start adding all the products, the remaining colors and stuff on the website. And when I get it all done, I'll send the first batch of emails out, and we'll get this sucker on the way. So, and if you have any other questions, just shoot us up a message, and me or John or someone else will get back to you. All right, guys, I appreciate it, and we'll catch you next time.